Douluo, starting with a 9-curve vine dragon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176 Duke Lin Rong. But soon, Yu Yuan, who is open-minded, figured something out. Something will occur if it belongs to your life. If not, do not push it. If you can't even grasp the inheritance of the gods given to you, then it is God's will and it is useless to force it. The guests walked into the garden one after another. 2 white-haired old men among them looked around the garden and walked hand in hand to the secluded corner where Lin Rong was. Lin Rong sensed the presence of the newcomers early in the morning. At this moment, he turned his head to look in the direction where the 2 white-haired old men were coming from, and greeted them with a smile. "Grandpa, Mr. Zhi." The identities of the 2 white-haired old men were revealed with Lin Rong's greetings. One is Duke Lin Rong, the head of the hereditary Marcus Dou family, who is also Lin Rong's grandfather by blood relationship. The other is Zhi Ming, the head of the hereditary Duke Zhi family, who has a very deep connection with the Lin family. Duke Lin Rong listened to his grandson's greetings, with a gentle smile on his old face, and said cheerfully, "Ronger, although you have inherited the hereditary title of the Lin family, the Dou family is also your home, but you only came back for my birthday, and you didn't come back to spend more time with an old man like me. It's because we have to meet each other in this kind of occasion." As he spoke, Duke Lin Rong walked up to Lin Rong and caressed his grandson's round little head lovingly. Lin Rong listened to his grandfather's complaints, smiled awkwardly, did not say anything, and just let his grandfather stroke his head. Previously, because of his identity as a time traveler, he had always avoided getting to know his deceased grandfather and parents, let alone taking the initiative to look for his grandfather who was still alive only on his grandfather's birthday every year. He could not find a reason not to go, so he had to attend. "Ronger, it seems that you already know that Yu Zhi likes Yu Yuan." "Oh, that is your mother's business, Duke." Lin Rong sat down next to Lin Rong, turned his head to look at Yu Yuan who was sitting on his right, and said jokingly, "Come to think of it, if it weren't for the Yi family's inherited martial spirit, Yu Yuan might have been with you." After all, Yu Yuan hadn't met Ronger's father at that time. Old? Duke? It's hard to say. Zhi Ming sat down next to Duke Lin Rong and interrupted, "If the Yi family didn't have the restriction of inheriting martial spirits, Marcus Yu wouldn't necessarily be the Marcus Yu he is now, right?" "That's true." The 2 old men looked at each other and smiled. Then, Duke Lin Rong led the topic to the part that Lin Rong least wanted to hear. "Ronger, the young master of the 7 treasures glazed tile sect is only a month older than you in terms of age, but now she has someone she likes and is engaged. Shouldn't you also consider this aspect? This is what the older generation likes to say most to the single younger generations, urging them to get married. It was like this in the previous life, and it is even more so in this life. Moreover, because people here mature early, the age of marriage is generally earlier than in the previous life." Lin Rong didn't want to go look for his grandfather, partly because of this reason. He didn't want to be forced into marriage. "Grandpa, my grandson has his own plans. You don't have to worry about him," Lin Rong replied, intending to turn the topic directly from what Ronger said. "Could it be that you already have someone you like?" Duke Lin Rong guessed while stroking his beard, and turned to look at the old housekeeper behind Lin Rong and asked, "Old Yu, Ronger was raised by you since she was a child. Tell me, does Ronger have a lover?" Faced with this question, the old housekeeper did not answer, but just smiled and shook his head. "Okay, Grandpa." Lin Rong threw himself into Grandpa's arms, and pulled a tuft of snow-white beard under Grandpa's chin with both hands to express his dissatisfaction. "This is my own business. I have my own plans. Instead of urging me here, you might as well urge my cousins. They are much older than me and are still single." Okay, Grandpa gets it. "Grandson, you let go first, let go." Duke Lin Rong said in pain. Although he had met his grandson only a few times, he felt very comfortable with him. He had been like this since he was a child and was not afraid of strangers at all, unlike his grandchildren, who, ever since they grew up to understand things, have been afraid of His Majesty and have become a little reserved when they are together, not daring to look him in the eye. Regarding this point, Duke Lin Rong believed that it was because his grandson was a hereditary duke and his status was much higher than his own. Therefore, even after he grew up, He would not be afraid of his hereditary status as a Marquess as for the fact that he is not afraid of strangers. It may be his nature, or it may be because the old housekeeper takes good care of his grandson on the side. Yu winks and watched the grandfather and grandson playing and fighting. Thinking, it seems that the Duke did not tell his grandfather and Marquess Zhi about the plot to seize the Xiandao throne, but it is also true. The Dou family is the family of the Duke's mother, and the relationship between the Zhi family and the Lin family is even deeper and closer. At least in the Duke's generation, the three families are in a relationship of shared prosperity and shared adversity. The Lin family wants to seize the throne, and the two families have no choice but to support them. 4. Things like this, the more people know about it, the greater the risk of exposure. The Duke probably didn't tell them about this matter in advance in order to reduce the risk of it being exposed. Yi Wen thought so in his heart, turned his head and looked around the garden, and found that in the entire garden, only their place had no female relatives. There are 4 families here, Lin, Yi, Dou and Zhi. There is only Lin Rong in the Lin family. There were only him and his daughter Yi Lingling in the Yi family. Because his daughter didn't like such occasions, the only one who came was Yi Winks in the Dou family, and the Zhi family were large and prosperous, but the 2 old marquises were very old and their wives had passed away long ago. For unknown reasons, they did not bring any younger members of their family to attend. As a result, their place became the only place in the entire garden without any women. Wait, I think I missed it. There's still a place where there are no women. Yi Winkson stared at a pavilion in the garden, where only 2 young men were sitting. It's the Tang sect Master Tang, and his little follower. Under the pavilion, Tang San sat there with a look of no strangers allowed on his face, and dissuaded those guests who wanted to go over to greet him, including those noble ladies who were very interested in him. Among the guests present, there is no one who is not a person of noble status. They are usually high and mighty, but they will not put down their status and face to actively get close to Tang San's icy face, especially in the royal family's attitude towards Yuxun's handling of the matter. They all vaguely realized that there had been subtle changes in the relationship between the Tang sect and the royal family, between the royal family and the Tang clan. They of course chose the former without hesitation. End of this chapter. Chapter 177, An engagement ring full of heart. About another stick of incense time passed, and all the guests invited to the banquet by the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect had arrived. Ning Fengzi, the leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect, also walked out of the castle under the gaze of everyone. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Ning Fengzi was dressed in a very formal and festive manner today. He smiled elegantly and casually, walked forward and said to everyone, "Welcome all the distinguished guests to attend my daughter's engagement party." Fengzi feels honored, although it was just polite words. Ning Fengzi acted as if it came from the bottom of his heart, and his tone was so sincere in Lin Rong's perception, regardless of other emotions expressed in these words. At least the happiness in his tone was real and not fake. But this is also normal. My daughter and son-in-law are both the descendants of the gods. No matter who says this, the joy in their tone is genuine at this time. A steward stood not far from the garden entrance and shouted loudly, "Dear guests, let's welcome the newcomers with warm applause." As soon as he finished speaking, the guests present applauded, eagerly waiting for today's protagonist to appear. Amidst warm applause, 2 figures slowly walked out of the castle, hand in hand. 2 figures, 1 male and 1 female. The man looked to be about 12 or 13 years old, with white hair that was neither long nor short and neatly groomed, making him look very energetic. His facial features were handsome and delicate, especially his pair of peach blossom eyes with a peachy pink luster. As soon as he appeared on the stage, he attracted the attention of almost all the noble girls present, and their eyes were full of him. The woman looked about 1 or 2 years younger than the man. She had waist-length silver hair that danced as she walked, making her look like an immortal. Her face is delicate and pure, her skin is fair and tender, and her temperament is noble and otherworldly. She looks like a fairy who is independent and detached from the world. Today, Oscar was wearing a luxurious dark yellow robe, a tall crown on his head, and a warm jade belt that tightened the robe, highlighting his thin figure and handsomeness. Ning Rongrong was wearing a colorful long skirt with countless colorful ribbons flying on it. She even had a colorful shawl draped over her shoulders. The skirt and the shawl moved in the wind, making her look like a fairy in the corner of the garden. Lin Rong recognized the outfits of Oscar and Ning Rongrong at a glance and thought, isn't this the costume of the 1st-generation god of food and the 9-colored goddess? It seems that Oscar and Ning Rongrong have obtained the inheritance of the god of food and the 9-colored goddess from the artifact. Oscar, And Ning Rongrong dressed up like this today because Ning Fengzi felt that the time was not right and he could not reveal the identities of his daughter and son-in-law as inheritors of the gods, but he also wanted to show off, so he asked Oscar and Ning Rongrong to dress like this in advance. When they successfully inherit the throne in the future, everyone will see their outfits after becoming gods and remember what happened today. Knowing that they have already inherited the throne at this time, this not only conceals the identities of his daughter and son-in-law as inheritors of the gods, but also satisfies Ning Fengzi's own vanity. Ning Fengzi watched his daughter and son-in-law approaching, and the more he looked at Oscar, the more he liked him. He completely forgot that before he knew Oscar was the successor of the god of cookery, he had always disliked Oscar. It can only be said that the heir to the throne of God is so charming that he has completely changed the way Ning Fengzi, the father-in-law, looks at Oscar, the son-in-law. Soon, Oscar and Ning Rongrong walk to the center of the garden hand in hand. The engagement ceremony has come to the most important moment, the couple exchanging engagement rings under the spotlight of the crowd. Oscar's peach blossom eyes stared at Ning Rongrong, who was right in front of him. His left hand slid across the jade belt, and a delicate and small box appeared in his left palm. "Rongrong, stretch out your hand," Oscar said this gently, while opening the box and taking out a gem ring inside. The ring was inlaid with a shiny and warm pink pearl. Ning Rongrong had a peaceful smile on her face and politely extended her right hand because there was no years of emotional development as in the original novel. Ning Rongrong had no emotional foundation for Oscar, unlike Oscar's love at first sight for Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong's feelings for Oscar were accumulated bit by bit during their 1 month of getting along. Although I don't have much affection for Oscar, there is some truth in it after all. Oscar's handsome face and those peach blossom eyes that are extremely attractive to young girls are a big plus. In addition, Oscar's naughty personality always makes Ning Rongrong laugh inadvertently. Ever since Ning Rongrong received an aristocratic elite education at the age of 6, she has never experienced that kind of happy and free life. Again, Oscar's appearance sometimes makes Ning Rongrong feel like she has returned to the carefree days before she was 6 years old. Looking at the slender jade fingers in front of him, Oscar carefully put the pink pearl ring on Ning Rongrong's right middle finger. Oscar felt a warmth from her fingertips, and reluctantly let go of Ning Rongrong's right hand as if she had sensed Oscar's subtle emotions. The peaceful smile on Ning Rongrong's face became less habitual and more sincere then. The jade bracelet on her right wrist flashed, and a box of the same type that Oscar had just taken out of the jade belt appeared in her hand. Seeing Oscar standing there in a daze, Ning Rongrong chuckled and said, "Idiot, what are you standing there for? Put your hand out." Oscar finally reacted and stretched out his left hand. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong opened the box slowly and gracefully, and took out a pink pearl ring of the same style. But the pink pearl on the ring was slightly larger than the one Oscar took out. Ning Rongrong was not as cautious as Oscar when she was also putting a ring on someone's finger. Instead, she naturally and calmly held Oscar's left hand and put the pink pearl ring on the middle finger of Oscar's left hand. The ceremony of the betrothed couple exchanging engagement rings ended with a round of blessings in the garden pavilion. Tang San looked at the beautiful couple in the center of the garden, and for some reason, a nameless anger rose in his heart. "Strange, what's wrong with me?" Tang San was very puzzled by the inexplicable anger in his heart. It felt like he should also have someone he deeply loved, and his love was much deeper and more genuine than the couple in front of him. There was no exchange of interests, nor a trace of distractions, only the purest love. But now the lover who was supposed to be there is nowhere to be seen, and he has to watch others loving each other, which makes him very unhappy. When in doubt, use Xiaotian Guang. This anger in his heart had no place to vent, making Tang San more and more uneasy. He had to silently recite the mantra of Xiaotian Guang and circulate the internal force of Xiaotian Guang to calm this anger. End of this chapter. Chapter 178. Gifts from everyone. The internal force cultivated through Xiaotian Guang is moderate, peaceful, mysterious and infinite. The nameless anger in Tang San's heart was quickly wiped out, but in a place that Tang San didn't notice, there was still a very faint emotion rooted deep in his heart. This emotional aura is greed. With the help of his state of mind, Lin Rong keenly sensed a faint but extremely pure emotion of greed that had just appeared in the garden. Such a pure smell of greed, could it be that? Lin Rong pondered in his heart, and at the same time calmly looked around at the people in the garden, trying to find the source of the greedy smell. However, the greedy aura just now was fleeting, and when Lin Rong noticed it, it had disappeared without a trace. Lin Rong swept his gaze over everyone in the garden with a scrutinizing look. When he swept over Tang San and Zhu King, who was disguised as Jinring Su, his gaze paused slightly. Greed, One of the 7 deadly sins if the greedy aura he sensed just now was related to the inheritance of the throne of the god of greed, one of the 7 original sin gods then, among the people present in this garden, the only ones most likely to be chosen by the god of greed to inherit the throne are Jinriksu and Tang San. Although Jinriksu is the descendant of the angel god, she has not yet inherited the angel god's throne and cannot be considered the angel god's successor. The bloodline of the angel god and the inherited martial spirit of the 6 winged angel have no impact on Jinriksu's inheritance of other divine positions. Tang San, without the Tang sect plugin, his real talent is, which is difficult to judge, but Tang San, who has the Tang sect plugin, is indeed a top-notch talent in this world in terms of talent. And his greedy character of wanting everything is a perfect fit for the position of the god of greed, if it is really related to the greedy godhood. Who are these 2? While Lin Rong was thinking, the engagement party had already reached the stage where the guests were giving gifts. The order of sending gifts is not based on the status of the guests present, but on the time they arrived. Among the guests present, Lin Rong arrived neither too early nor too late, and it would take a while before it was his turn. Yu Yuan arrived very early, and now it was his turn. The Yi family has been good at gardening for generations, so most of the gifts they sent were precious flowers with beautiful meanings, especially a pot of golden tulips, which attracted the attention of the guests with its gorgeous colors and rich fragrance. The fragrance of this tulip is so rich, elegant and yet not cloying. Duke Lin praised softly. They were in a remote corner of the garden, but even so they could smell the rich fragrance of the flowers, which showed how strong the scent of tulips was. Yu Yuan also likes gardening and flowers, but her favorite flower is not tulips, but Duke Lin stroked his grandson's head and spoke quietly, "It's the lotus." After delivering the gift, Yu Yuan returned to this secluded corner. After hearing Duke Lin's words, he spoke first, and among the several colors of lotus, Yu Yuan likes the white lotus the most. The pond full of lotus flowers in the Lin family manor was planted by Yu Yuan herself. "I'm sorry, Mr. Du, I'm rude." At the end, Yu Yuan apologized for interrupting someone. "No problem," Duke Lin said nonchalantly. If it were someone else, he might have still nagged a few words, but Yu Yuan was different. If it weren't for the reason of the Yi family's inherited martial spirit, his daughter might have been with Yu Yuan because Yu Yuan and his daughter have the same hobby, gardening and flowers. The guests present sent out the gifts they had prepared one after another, and soon it was the turn of the 3 forces, the Lin family, the royal family, and the Tang clan. The 3 families arrived at almost the same time, so according to the order of seniority, the royal family presented gifts first, followed by the Lin family, and the Tang family last. As the ruler of Xiandao, the gifts sent by the royal family are undoubtedly the most luxurious and precious gifts ever sent. One by one, rare treasures with auspicious and beautiful meanings were taken out from the soul guide by Zuking and placed on the altar in the garden. Finally, Zuking took out an exquisitely crafted music box from the soul guide. "Wow! So beautiful!" Cries of surprise came from the crowd. This music box is not only beautiful, it is also a soul guide handed down from ancient times and has been treasured in the royal treasury for many years. Zhu King walked forward, handed the music box in his hand to Ning Rongrong, smiled slightly, and said in a gentle and elegant manner, "Open it and take a look. Young Master Ning will like it." Soul guide. Ning Rongrong looked down at the exquisite and gorgeous music box in her hand. At Zhu King's urging, she curiously opened the lid of the music box. The moment the music box was opened, melodious music flowed through the garden at the same time. As the lid of the music box opened, the scene inside the music box appeared in front of Ning Rongrong. This is me. And Zio Ao, Ning Rongrong looked down at the white jade statue of a man and a woman embracing and spinning inside the music box. The faces of this couple statue carved from white jade were exactly the same as hers and Oscar's. Seeing this, Zhu King gently reminded, "Master Ning, don't just stare at your couple statue. Remember what I said, this is an ancient soul guide. Try to inject soul power into the music box, and you will get a surprise." Zhu King's words brought Ning Rongrong back to her senses, and she did as she was told. With the infusion of soul power, the music box in Ning Rongrong's hand began to emit a faint colorful halo. Soon, the colorful halo spread to every corner of the garden, transforming the scene here into a bright night sky with a full moon hanging high in the sky and numerous stars. This ancient soul guide is called the illusionary music box. It can create 8 different illusions engraved inside the music box according to the user's wishes. Zhu King's voice echoed in the garden, introducing Ning Rongrong as well as everyone present. The statues inside the music box can be replaced. The original pair of statues were also a couple. It is said that they were made by an ancient soul mentor as a token of love for his wife. However, as a gift, the statue was naturally replaced with a couple statue of young Master Ning and Mr. Oscar. As Ning Rongrong stopped injecting soul power into the music box, the illusion of the night sky disappeared and the scene returned to the castle garden of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect. Thank you, Your Highness. I like this gift from the royal family very much. Ning Rongrong politely bowed slightly to Zhu King and handed the music box in her hand to Oscar after the royal gifts were delivered. It was the turn of the Lin family represented by Lin Rong. However, Lin Rong did not step forward, but the old butler went up to present the gift on his behalf. End of this chapter. Chapter 179 Armor, Hateful Ringless Set. Compared with the lavish gifts of the royal family, the gifts sent by the Lin family seemed quite conventional. The dozen or so gifts sent out neither belittled the Lin family's status and face, nor did they appear to be particularly outstanding. In fact, this is the norm for sending gifts. Not every force is as wealthy as the royal family, who owns the entire Sky Dou Empire and has accumulated heritage over countless years. Moreover, the royal family has a close relationship with the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect, and Zhu King is nominally the disciple of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect's leader Ning Fengzi. If the gift sent is too mediocre, it will only bring shame to the royal family soon. The old butler returned to Lin Rong after delivering the gifts. At this time, the guests in the garden all turned their eyes to Tang San, wanting to know what kind of gift he could come up with. There has been constant cooperation between the Tang sect and the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect. Now that the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect's young master is holding an engagement party, the Tang sect represented by Tang San must come up with a gift that shows enough thoughtfulness, rather than just giving out something random and being done with it. Ahem. Seeing that everyone's eyes were on him, Tang San immediately turned his head away guiltily and looked at Tai Long, who was standing next to him. Talon, take out the gift I asked you to prepare. This was Tang San's first time attending such a banquet. The deceased Tang Yuho couldn't tell Tang San that an engagement banquet required the preparation of gifts. Logically speaking, Tang San had received birthday gifts at his 9th birthday party, so he should know that gifts are required when attending similar banquets. But judging from Tang San's reaction, he seemed to have completely forgotten about it. Tang San's face had been looking strange since the gift-giving session began, and this time he directly put all the blame on Tai Long. If Tyrone himself is prepared, then everything will be fine and everything will be his credit. But if Tyrone was not prepared, then everything would be Tyrone's fault for not bringing out the gift he had prepared. As you command, young master. Tai Long replied dully. In fact, Ning Fengzi had anticipated this kind of information, so he passed the news about the gift in advance, but the message stopped when it reached Tai Long and did not reach Tang San. When Tyrone received the news, he felt extremely unbalanced. What the Tang clan earned from selling hidden weapons was money, not any rare treasures. All the birthday gifts that Tang San received on his 9th birthday were collected by Tang Yuhua, and none of them were stored in the Tang clan warehouse. Therefore, the gift for this engagement party can only come from the treasure house of their Li clan. But the Li clan never liked those luxurious things that looked good but were useless, and they felt that they were not as practical as money and metal. But the gift had to be good enough, so Tyrone just went for it in order not to lose Tang San's trust before poisoning him to death. He reluctantly turned the treasure house of the Li clan upside down and barely managed to collect a little over 10 precious gifts. Although the meanings of these gifts were not so consistent with the engagement party, Tyrone had no other choice. Seeing the dozen or so items that Tai Long took out from the soul guide, the eyes of the guests present all became strange. Are these antiques? Ning Rongrong looked at the gifts on the ground, and her expression suddenly became a little unnatural. These things may seem precious to Tai Long, but in Ning Rongrong's eyes they are nothing but worthless rubbish. Calling it an antique is already a very polite and respectful statement considering the hidden weapon business between her own sect and the Tang sect. Ning Rongrong gave enough face and said with a natural smile, Xiao Ao has always liked collecting antiques. Thank you Tang sect for taking the trouble to inquire about it. As she spoke, Ning Rongrong turned her head to look at Oscar beside her, took his hand and said, Xiao Ao, didn't you say that because food-type spirit masters have no fighting power, you have always wanted to be a great general on the battlefield? I think this armor is very suitable for you. You will look as majestic as a general when you wear it. Oscar has a high EQ and understood the situation immediately. He immediately took over Ning Rongrong's words and said, of course. When I wear it, I will look more handsome than a real general. After that, Oscar looked at Tai Long again and said, "Thank you for the gift you prepared for me. I like it very much, except for a few young people who were ignorant of the ways of the world." The guests present were basically all smart people and could see the true situation of the scene at a glance, but seeing through something but not saying it out loud is the basic unspoken rule in such situations. Everyone has had times when they want to act out their feelings. What's more, they were happy to just sit there and watch the show silently in the corner of the garden. Lin Rong ignored the voice in his ear, staring at the suit of armor and the gift, thinking, hateful earth ringless suit. I didn't expect that Hercules' artifact would appear in the hands of the power clan. If you think about it carefully, the attributes of the inherited martial spirit of the power clan, the powerful ape, are indeed consistent with the inheritance of the throne of Hercules. However, since Tai Long gave the hateful earth ringless set as a gift, it means that he failed to gain recognition from the artifact and only treated it as an ordinary armor set. I don't have enough talent. Even if I'm given the opportunity, it's useless. The hateful and ringless set is an artifact set that can be split into 4 separate artifacts, namely, twin Hercules hammers, yin-yang giant palms, source of strength, 100-leaf battle skirt. These 4 artifacts, together with the rest of the suit, make up the Hercules artifact hateful earth ringless set. The effect of the artifact is very simple and brutal, which is to increase strength, but the proportion of this increase is extremely exaggerated. This artifact can be given to Supan. Although he is not talented enough, it doesn't matter. I just need to take the evil god bead from the dark demon evil god tiger. Lin Rong had already made arrangements in his mind instantly about the ownership of the hateful earth ringless set. Supan is one of the most loyal elders in the mansion, besides the old butler. His martial soul, the rock-horned bull, is a martial soul of strength attribute, which fits the position of Hercules. It doesn't matter if you don't have enough talent, an evil god bead can easily solve the problem. After all, a natural loser like Zhou Weiqing could instantly become a peerless genius after absorbing the evil god pearl. From this, we can know that the evil god pearl can fully improve anyone's qualifications to the level sufficient to obtain the inheritance of the gods. But this way, he had one more reason to kill the dark demon evil god tiger. I never thought that just attending an engagement party would bring me unexpected gains. It would be great if such unexpected gains could happen more often. Lin Rong turned his eyes away from the hateful earth ringless suit and thought about how to conquer the 7 treasures glazed tile sect next. End of this chapter. Chapter 180. Identify yourself. Soon, Tai Long delivered the gift and returned to Tang San according to the order of arrival. The next person to present a gift was Lawrence, the Platinum Bishop of the Spirit Hall. The guests present paid great attention to him, even more than the Xiaotian royal family. As the saying goes, there are 3 things a new official needs to do when taking office. It has only been half a month since Lawrence took the position of Bishop of the Wuhan Hall in Xiandao City. He needs to do something to establish his authority in the Wuhan Hall at the same time, as the highest authority in the Spirit Hall in the Sky Dou Empire. Lawrence's every word and action represents the attitude of the Spirit Hall. The previous Platinum Bishop Salas was removed from his position as the Bishop of the Wuhan Hall in Xiandao City because he took the blame. The alliance between the Spirit Hall and the Xiandao Empire was also terminated due to the surprise attack by the Sky Dou Empire. The Xiandao Empire lost 200,000 troops, and the Spirit Hall lost 5 titled Douluo. This kind of loss is enough to cause serious damage to both the major forces. Therefore, the alliance between the Xiandao Empire and the Spirit Hall not only failed to recover the lost territory of the western border province, but also to some extent aggravated the already disharmonious relationship between the 2 sides. The 7 treasures glazed tile sect is on good terms with the Xiandao royal family, and this is well known in Xiandao City. The level of gift Lawrence gave at the engagement party could indirectly reflect whether Spirit Hall's current attitude towards the 7 treasures glazed tile sect is good or bad. Under everyone's attention, Lawrence walked calmly to the center of the garden. When he passed by Ning Fengzi, Jian Douluo and Bone Douluo, his steps seemed to pause. Jian Dao Chenzin, you'd better remember this. Lawrence cursed in his heart the moment he walked in front of Jian Douluo. Jian Douluo's invisible sword energy scratched his exposed skin. Although his skin was not scratched under his deliberate control, the burning pain of the sword energy scratching his skin was far more painful than having his skin scratched. Moreover, Jian Douluo controlled the degree of sword energy just right, which could intimidate Lawrence without making him cry out in pain and lose face. Lawrence was holding his breath, but there was no sign of abnormality on his old face. He just waved his hand, and the storage soul guide on his body flashed continuously, and dozens of dazzling objects suddenly appeared on the ground in the garden after a few seconds. The light faded after everyone saw the gifts on the ground. They immediately knew what was going on. The gifts that Lawrence brought out, both in quantity and quality, were just barely in line with the status of the spirit hall. There was nothing outstanding in the gifts or anything that could show his thoughtfulness. Even so, in everyone's opinion, the preciousness of this gift is second only to the gift given by the Xiandao royal family. Lin Rong felt that the result was normal. After all, the spirit hall lost 5 title Douluo at once, and these 5 title Douluo were all affiliated with Pope Bibidong, not the worship hall. Bibidong's power in the spirit hall has now fallen to its lowest point in history. Right now Bibidong is busy with her love affair with Yu Gang, busy with the progress of the Rakshasa god assessment, and busy dealing with factional struggles and daily affairs within the spirit hall. It can be said that even if I had 3 heads and 6 arms, I would be too busy to have time to take care of other things in this special period. It is the best choice for the spirit hall to maintain a superficially distant relationship with the major forces on the continent. After delivering the gift, Lawrence did not return to his previous position, but left the garden without saying a word and walked straight out of the castle. Uncle Jian. Ning Fengzi saw Lawrence leaving, and calmly used his soul power to send a message to Jian Douluo beside him. Don't do this anymore, definitely. Next time. In response, Jian Douluo used his soul power to transmit the voice, but his emotionless tone and casual attitude showed that he didn't take the matter to heart at all. Feng? I support the old bitch this time. Gu Douluo at the side also interrupted with soul power transmission. This is Rongrong's once-in-a-lifetime engagement party. None of us knows the attitude of the spirit hall beforehand. It would be better to let the old bitch give Lawrence a small warning. Hearing this, Ning Fengzi said nothing more and sat there silently watching the gift-giving process continue. Half a day later the grand engagement party ended and the guests left one after another at the banquet. Lin Rong sat on a chair and said to the people around him, "Grandpa, you go first. I have something to discuss with Sect Master Ning." "Okay. I was thinking of taking you home to sit for a while." Duke Lin stood up from his chair with some regret and said goodbye to his grandson. "Roger, when you have time in the future, remember to come back and see Grandpa more often. Don't forget." After saying that, Duke Lin patted Lin Rong's head for the last time, and left the banquet hall of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect with Haiming and Yu Yuan. Across the hall Ning Fengzi had just finished discussing a large hidden weapon order with Tang San, and watched Tang San and his little follower Tai Long leave the hall. After Tang San's figure disappeared from sight, Ning Fengzi looked back and found that among the guests who had left, only Lin Rong was still sitting at the banquet with no intention of leaving. The two looked at each other. Ning Fengzi habitually showed an elegant and easygoing smile, and Lin Rong also nodded gently. A few minutes passed. Lin Rong and the old butler were the only guests left in the banquet hall. "Duke Lin, the last time we met was last time." At this time, Ning Fengzi came over and sat down next to Lin Rong, and said very casually, "Come to think of it, this should be our first time meeting in private, without outsiders present. I wonder if the fan I gave you last time is still comfortable to use." Ning Fengzi knew that Lin Rong must have something to discuss with him, but he did not take the initiative to mention it. Instead, he talked about other things in a roundabout way only by letting the other party speak out. "Can you take the initiative in the matter?" "It's okay." Lin Rong looked at Ning Fengzi and said in a calm tone, "But diamonds and emeralds, plus 2 million gold soul coins, are not enough to offset a favor. If Miss Ning's 7 treasure glazed tower had not evolved, the inheritance of the 9-colored goddess might not have chosen her, and you wouldn't have gotten Oscar, the inheritor of the god of food, as your son-in-law. How do you plan to repay such a huge favor, Sect Master Ning?" As soon as these words were spoken, the faces of Ning Fengzi, Jian Douluo, Bon Douluo, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar, who were still in the banquet hall, changed at the same time. Sword Douluo and Bon Douluo directly released their martial spirits and spirit rings, and appeared behind Ning Fengzi in a flash, staring at Lin Rong with murderous eyes. As long as Ning Fengzi gave the order, they could take his life at any time. End of this chapter. Chapter 181. The tip of the needle versus the on of wheat. The elegant and easygoing smile on Ning Fengzi's face disappeared, replaced by an endless chill like 10,000 years of ice. In the entire 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect, there are only a handful of people who know about the divine inheritance, and they are all here. There is absolutely no possibility of leakage. "Duke Lin Rong, how did you know, Uncle Jian has a bad temper?" I hope you can answer me truthfully, Ning. Feng's words seemed to be threatening, but little did he know that a storm was brewing in his heart. Just as he said, the only people in the entire Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect who knew about this matter were himself, Sword Douluo, Bone Douluo, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar. But what puzzled Ning Fengzi was that Lin Rong not only knew that his daughter and Oscar were the inheritors of the gods, he even knew the titles of the gods' inheritance that his daughter and Oscar had obtained. Even Ning Rongrong and Oscar himself, as the inheritors of the gods, only knew the names of the gods after they were recognized by the inheritance in the artifact. Master Ning, you are Zhu King's teacher. Facing the threats from the two-titled Douluo, Lin Rong acted unconcerned, leaning back in his chair leisurely, and said, "You know better than anyone here what a crime it is to assassinate a hereditary duke. Besides, I am the only one in my Lin family. After my death, the empire will have only 2 hereditary dukes instead of 3. If you do this, you will put the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect in the center of the raging storm. How long do you think you can keep the fact that the 2 of your family are the heirs of the gods a secret? I'd like to kindly remind you that there were 26 shooting stars that night, and it's not just the 2 of you and your family who will inherit the throne of godhood, really." Ning Fengzi stretched out his hand to stop Jian Douluo from attacking Lin Rong. With a gleam in his eyes, he said firmly, "Duke Lin Rong is telling Fengzi that you are also a descendant of a god, right?" As Ning Fengzi said this, the doubts in his heart were alleviated a lot. If Lin Rong is also the descendant of the gods, then some things can be explained. Hearing this, Lin Rong said without comment, "I am the descendant of the gods, barely. After all, his divinity comes from the bloodline of the god of thunder, so it's not impossible to say that he is the heir of God." Ning Fengzi said inwardly, as expected, and waved his hand to signal Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo to put away their martial spirits and spirit rings. "Duke Lin, since you, Rongrong, Xiaotian and the others are all inheritors of the gods, you should also know how great the temptation of this inheritance is to the world, especially for a god inheritor who has not yet grown up. If people knew about it, it would definitely cause countless soul masters to hunt him down and fight for him. My Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect is one of the top 3 sects. We have many subordinate spirit masters, 2 titled Douluo, and countless connections. Even so, my Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect dare not let the world know that Rongrong and Xiao are the inheritors of the gods, and you only have one top-level fighter like old Yu, who is also a newly promoted titled Douluo who just broke through the seal a few years ago. You can't let outsiders know your identity as the inheritor of the gods. We all have the same secret that cannot be known to outsiders, and we have a basis for unity. If I guess correctly, you stayed to find me because of this matter." At the end, Ning Fengzi added another sentence and asked, "By the way, what is the name of the god you inherited?" Lin Rong did not answer Ning Fengzi's last question, but spoke arrogantly in a calm tone, "Indeed, we both have a secret that cannot be known to outsiders, but the relationship between us is not a union, but a master and servant. I am the master and you are the servant. If you don't understand or are not convinced, you can choose to fight until I beat you until you understand and are convinced." Before he finished his words, a sharp sword energy came out from behind Ning Fengzi, brushed past Lin Rong, and pierced through the dining table behind him. "Humph! How shameless!" Sword Douluo Chenzin looked at Lin Rong with contempt, slowly retracted the finger that was pointing forward, and said, "If I hadn't shown mercy just now, you would have been dead." "Yes, yes." Lin Rong didn't seem to mind at all, and even clapped his hands and said with a smile, "If you hadn't shown mercy just now, I would be fine, but your little Rongrong might be fine. If you don't believe me, you might as well look back." "What, you?" Not only Sword Douluo, but also Ning Fengzi and Bone Douluo. The 3 of them turned around at the same time and found Ning Rongrong leaning in Oscar's arms with a pale face, a few strands of silver hair scattered on the ground. "How is it possible? Apart from the sword energy of this old man, Uncle Jian, that bitch, there was clearly no energy fluctuation." The 3 of them turned around at the same time and looked at Lin Rong, or rather the old butler behind him, with astonishment on their faces. None of the 3 of them could detect the method just used, which required extremely powerful strength to accomplish. Therefore, they instinctively ruled out Lin Rong, who was only 11 years old, and set their sights on the old butler who had remained silent. Considering how much he cares about his master, it is only natural for him to respond in the same way to the provocation of the sword energy just now. The only doubt was how this person's strength was able to hide from the 3 of them. What do you think, Ning Fengzi? What's your choice? Lin Rong pushed the wooden chair and lay on it like a rocking chair. Should you surrender now, or should you fight me and face the reality before surrendering? You only have these two paths to choose from. There is no third path. I have plenty of time. I can wait here slowly. It's not too late to make a decision after you think it through, Ning. Fengzi came back to his senses and said with a ferocious look, "You want my 7 treasures glazed tile sect to submit to you. I think your ambition is not limited to this. Do you want to replace the Xiaotian royal family? Or overthrow the spirit wall? Or unify the continent? No matter what your ambition is, if you want the 7 treasures glazed tile sect to submit, you must show your strength to convince me. Let me see clearly whether your strength matches your ambition." Seeing Ning Fengzi made his choice, Lin Rong still sat on the chair and said, "Impulse is the devil. The choices you make in anger may not be what you really want. You'd better think it over carefully before you speak, lest you regret it after you are defeated and be unwilling to fulfill your promise just now." As he spoke, a moon-white harp appeared above Lin Rong's head. The harp strings were played by themselves, and the quiet sound flowed in the huge banquet hall. The magical piano music flowed through the air into the hearts of everyone present, calming their turbulent emotions. End of this chapter. Chapter 182, Fighting with Divine Weapons as Stakes. After a few breaths, the empty and eerie piano music suddenly stopped. Ning Fengzi looked up at the harp above Lin Rong's head, his pupils trembling slightly. The power of the artifact is truly fascinating. He turned to look at his daughter and son-in-law, then looked at Lin Rong again, his eyes revealing some confusion. "But there is one thing I don't understand. This divine inheritance is related to music. The attributes of your Lin family's inherited martial spirit, the dragon soul vine, do not match it. How did you get its recognition?" The harp turned into a stream of light and returned to Lin Rong's body. He looked at Ning Fengzi and said calmly, "The attributes match, which is really important, but nothing is absolute. As long as a person's talent is high enough, even if the attributes are incompatible or even conflicting, the godly heritage will ignore these active contributions." Ning Fengzi was stunned by these words. He didn't know whether to say that Lin Rong was confident or arrogant, for he actually had the idea of passing on the inheritance of the gods to mortals. Only when a soul master cultivates to the legendary level 100 can he ascend to the position of a god. There are 10 realms in total: Soul Warrior, Soul Master, Great Soul Master, Soul Lord, Soul Patriarch, Soul King, Soul Emperor, Soul Saint, Soul Douluo, and title Douluo. Above these 10 realms is the legendary divine realm. The innate qualifications of a soul master are determined by the accompanying soul power that comes with the awakened martial soul. For example, if one's innate soul power is lower than level 1, without a sufficiently strong external force, one will never be able to break through level 30 in one's lifetime, and the highest one can reach in one's lifetime is a peak soul master at level 29. But even if he had the highest innate aptitude and full soul power, this innate aptitude could only allow him to successfully cultivate to the 95th level of the title Douluo realm. Although innate full soul power is rare, it does exist. There will always be 1 or 2 of them every few hundred years across the entire continent. Ning Fengzi was searching for the soul masters with innate full soul power that appeared in the current continent first. His son-in-law Oscar went out to buy a rice spoon and got the god of cookery's artifact and inheritance. Well, it seems like the inheritance from the gods is a loss. No. Oscar's martial soul is the food-related sausage, which is in line with the inherited attributes of the god of food, so it cannot be counted. The other one is Duke Lin Rong in front of him, the confirmed inheritor of the gods. Although the name of the god is unknown, judging from Lin Rong's attitude, he is probably the same as Oscar, and can be regarded as a god's inheritor who pays for it. No, I don't know the inside story, so who knows whether it is true or not. Ning Fengzi's brain worked rapidly, and he soon found 2 soul masters with innate full soul power in his mind. So, he looked at Lin Rong and asked in a seemingly questioning tone, "Duke Lin, you said that as long as one's talent is high enough, the inheritance of the gods will be paid for. Full innate soul power is the highest innate qualification of a soul master. According to what you said, the current pope of the Spirit Hall, Bidong, and the junior with full innate soul power in the Divine Wind Academy are also inheritors of gods." He thought that by saying this he could successfully refute Lin Rong's words, but he was quickly slapped in the face. "I'm sorry, Sect Master Ning, they are really the descendants of the gods." Lin Rong showed a harmless smile and said lightly, "Of the 2 of them, Bidong is the inheritor of the Rakshasa god, and Feng Xiaotian, the genius with full innate soul power from the Divine Wind Academy, is the inheritor of the Wind god. As for whether it's true or not, you can go and verify it yourself. It's easy to tell the Divine Wind Academy, but as for the Spirit Hall, do you dare to go and verify it yourself with Bidong? Although Ning Fengzi didn't believe that the divine inheritance would be so widespread, as if everyone possessed it, he already believed that to about 70% in his heart Oscar can inherit the legacy of the god of food, and Lin Rong can inherit the legacy of an unknown god. Then, it is not surprising that Bidong and Feng Xiaotian, who both have innate full soul power, can obtain the inheritance of gods. But the more Ning Fengzi believed what Lin Rong said, the more curious he became about the inheritance of the gods that Lin Rong had obtained. Why did Lin Rong know which people had obtained the inheritance of those gods? But given the current situation, even if he asked Lin Rong, she might not tell him. Ning Fengzi cleared the unnecessary messy thoughts in his mind, looked at Lin Rong and said calmly, "Let's have a competition. If my 7 treasures glazed tile sect loses, I will submit to you, but if you lose, what price can you pay? I don't believe you will submit to me." Hearing this, Lin Rong was stunned for a moment, and then said truthfully, "Well, I haven't really thought about that. Don't get me wrong, the main thing is that I never thought I would lose, and I never thought about what the price would be if I lost." As he spoke, Lin Rong gave a seemingly apologetic smile, "But since Sect Master Ning has mentioned it, why not do this? You're right. It's impossible for me to surrender. Even if I can't lose, I won't make such a promise. How about this? If I lose, I will give you one of my extra artifacts. That artifact also contains the inheritance of the divine throne. As for whether you can obtain it, it depends on whether you have the opportunity and good fortune. Too many extra artifacts?" Except for Lin Rong and the old butler, the other 5 people present all suspected that they might have hallucinated and heard it wrongly. After they were stunned for a while, Douluo said in a somewhat gloomy tone, "Extra artifacts? If you say there are, then there are. I don't believe it, unless you show us the artifact other than the harp. No one will believe you. Do you really think the artifact is cabbage that can be grabbed in a handful on the street?" Although Ning Fengzi and Douluo did not speak, one could tell from the expressions on their faces that their thoughts were basically the same as Douluo's. Lin Rong said in a playful tone, "Really? You don't believe it? That's easy. I'll just show you the artifact." As he spoke, Lin Rong raised his right hand, purple lightning flashed in his palm, and a medium-sized, seemingly ordinary hammer appeared in his right hand. In addition, the weapon of Thor is called Thor's hammer. "Gu. Wrong, you have to answer it." Before he finished his words, Lin Rong swung the Thor's hammer in his hand hard, heading straight for Douluo's chest. Not good. Douluo secretly thought that something was wrong. The hammer gave him an extremely dangerous aura. Thus, he completed the martial spirit possession in an instant. At the same time, among the 9 soul rings that appeared on his body, the second yellow 100-year soul ring lit up. Second soul skill, Bone Dragon Armor. A set of gray-white armor with a bone texture instantly appeared on Gu Rong, whose appearance had changed drastically as soon as this soul skill was released. Thor's hammer fell on Gu Rong's chest with a dull sound. The ordinary hammer suddenly burst out with a large amount of purple thunder, wrapping Douluo's whole body. After a crackling sound, the white bone armor on Gu Rong's body turned into black charcoal and fell to the ground. The purple thunder also dissipated at this moment, allowing everyone to see the appearance of the ancient banyan tree in the lightning. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183, Changing Scenery. Most of the body of Douluo, who is in the state of being possessed by the martial spirit, has turned into bones, with only a few places still having flesh and blood, including the chest. Now, the flesh and blood on Douluo's chest had become burned, and a faint smell of barbecue was spreading in the air. Thor's hammer. What a magical weapon. Douluo held the Thor's hammer, which was emitting a hint of thunder, in his white bone claws, and the expression on his face seemed quite strained on the side. Ning Fengzi saw that Douluo was holding the Thor's hammer tightly and refused to let go. Although he understood that he wanted to keep the artifact, he still persuaded him. "Uncle Gu, Don't be so stubborn. The artifact will have a rejection reaction. Most likely it has already recognized its master, just like Rongrong's 9-colored shawl. As long as we win the next competition, this divine weapon will be ours. There is no need to rush. What Ning Fengzi said made sense, and Douluo no longer insisted. He looked at Lin Rong and fiercely threw the Thor's hammer in his hand back, wanting to make Lin Rong suffer a loss, but he forgot that Ning Fengzi had just told him that Thor's hammer had recognized its master. In this case, there was no need to guess, and everyone knew that the owner of Thor's hammer was Lin Rong. Now that he has recognized his master, the thunder from Thor's hammer cannot hurt Lin Rong. Therefore, it is unrealistic for Douluo to let Lin Rong suffer a loss at the hands of his own artifact. This was indeed the case. Thor's hammer stopped in the air when it was 1 meter away from Lin Rong, and then turned into a stream of light and entered Lin Rong's body. In this regard, even though Ning Fengzi had a daughter and a son-in-law, both inheritors of the gods, he still couldn't help feeling jealous. With 2 gods' inheritance, Duke Lin is truly gifted and has amazing luck. Although he was jealous, there was no trace of jealousy in Ning Fengzi's tone, but rather a hint of compliment. Then, Ning Fengzi continued, I accept the bet. If we lose, the 7 treasures glazed tile sect will submit to you, but you lost. 1 artifact is not enough, because I have the inheritance of the god of food and the goddess of 9 colors, and you only offer 1 artifact containing the inheritance. The stakes are not equal, so you need to bring out 2. Thor's hammer and the harp we saw earlier are exactly 2 divine artifacts. What do you think, Duke Lin? In response to Ning Fengzi's proposal, Lin Rong shook his head slightly and said, 2 artifacts are fine, but the moonlit love, the harp, is not included. I have already promised to give the harp to someone else, but I can tell you the whereabouts of another artifact that contains the inheritance of the divine throne. Moreover, I guarantee that this artifact will be within your reach. The artifact that Lin Rong mentioned was of course the set of ringless hateful earth suit that Talon gave as a gift. Divine objects are naturally hidden. If Lin Rong hadn't told them that this was a set of divine artifacts, then the hateful earth ringless set would probably have been displayed in the warehouse of the 7 treasures glazed tile sect forever, gathering dust. Therefore, with this as a condition, Lin Rong had no psychological burden at all. The whereabouts of the other artifact. Ning Fengzi's tone was a little flat and numb. He had been shocked too many times today and could no longer feel excited or surprised. Duke Lin, I have one last condition to add. If I win the bet, you need to tell me how you know so much about gods and artifacts in addition to the original conditions. Your request is indeed a bit too much, but no problem, I agree. Lin Rong agreed readily anyway. As long as he wins this inevitable bet, he doesn't need to consider these conditions of failure. Then, Lin Rong stood up from the chair and released his martial spirit. The 9-curved vine dragon that had been trapped in his body for some time appeared behind him, and at the same time, 7 soul rings appeared on his body one by one. Black, 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 and red. An extraordinary soul ring ratio of 6 blacks and 1 red appeared in front of everyone in the invisible silence. Lin Rong's slightly childish voice echoed in Ning Fengzi's ears. Master Ning, it's not convenient to compete here. Let's fight somewhere else. While Lin Rong was saying this, all the soul power in his body was transformed into divine power and injected into the 2nd soul ring. During the engagement party, he quietly planted the green leaf mark on Ning Fengzi, Jian Douluo, Douluo, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar. At this moment, as the 2nd soul skill was activated, the green leaf marks on the 5 of them as well as Lin Rong and the old butler were activated at the same time. The age of the 2nd soul ring has been increased to 10,000 years, and the power of its soul skills is no longer comparable to before anyone could react. The 7 of them appeared in a dense forest of 5 people from the Liuli sect, and Kabayoli looked at the tall and thick trees around them in a daze, and soon recognized where they were. This is Sunset Forest. Not far from them, the old butler stood in front of a big tree, blocking their view. Behind him, Lin Rong, whose soul power was exhausted, was leaning against a tree trunk, absorbing the life energy of the surrounding ancient trees to restore the empty soul power in his body. In just a few seconds, Lin Rong recovered 20% of his soul power, and his face, which had seemed a little pale due to the depletion of soul power, returned to normal. Lin Rong walked out from behind the old housekeeper, looked at Ning Fengzi and the other 4, and said in an arrogant tone, Master Ning, how do you plan to fight? Are you going to gang up on me? Or am I going to fight all of you one-on-one? It's Up to you to choose. I have no objection. While he was talking, Lin Rong's soul power recovered a lot. These arrogant words made Ning Fengzi and his companions focus their attention on Lin Rong again. The 7 spirit rings on his body, 6 black and 1 red, were so dazzling that they deeply hurt the eyes of the 5 of them. After a while, Ning Fengzi broke the silence and said word by word, "You are really only 11 years old." Of course. Lin Rong took a few steps forward. His soul power had fully recovered while Ning Fengzi and the others were silent. Didn't Sect Master Ning attend my full moon banquet? Looking at the 6 black and 1 red soul rings on Lin Rong's body, the 6 words 11-year-old soul saint kept echoing in Ning Fengzi's mind. He was finally willing to believe that there were indeed people in this world who had the qualifications to allow the gods' inheritance to ignore the compatibility of their attributes and give themselves to them. The jealousy that rose in my heart disappeared in the face of this huge gap, and I sincerely complimented him. No wonder you are able to inherit the legacy of 2 great gods. With such unparalleled talent, it is only natural that you should be like this. After saying that, Ning Fengzi looked at the old housekeeper behind Lin Rong, then turned his gaze back to Lin Rong and confirmed, "Duke Lin, are you sure you're the only one in this gambling fight?" Even after seeing Lin Rong's soul power and soul ring, Ning Fengzi didn't think he would lose. There are 5 of them. Although his daughter and son-in-law are not strong enough to intervene in this gambling fight, he also has 2 titled Douluo and himself. The soul sage Uncle Jian is a titled Douluo at level 96, and his martial spirit, the 7-kill sword, is the master of attack. Uncle Gu is a titled Douluo at level 95, and his martial spirit, Bone Dragon, focuses on defense and control. He himself is a level 79 soul saint, and his martial soul is the 7 treasures glazed tile sect, which can provide 6 huge attribute enhancements. On the other hand, look at Lin Rong. Even though Lin Rong's soul ring ratio is 6 black and 1 red, he is only a soul sage, and his combat power is at most to the level of a beginner. Titled Douluo. It has only been a few years since the old butler broke through to the titled Douluo level, and his strength is definitely not as good as Uncle Jian and Uncle Gu. The only variable is those 2 artifacts. End of this chapter. Chapter 184. I have the advantage of 1 versus 3. 184 1 versus 3. The advantage is in my hands. Love under the moon and Thor's hammer. As long as they don't give the other side the chance to use these 2 artifacts, victory will only belong to their 7 treasures glazed sect. Sure, it's just me. Lin Rong answered affirmatively, and at the same time, the 6th soul ring on his body suddenly flashed. A moment this spirit skill was activated, Ning Fengzi was shocked to find that all the surrounding trees had turned into banyan trees covered with vines. This is the Vine Dragon Prison Heaven formation, my 6th soul skill. Lin Rong's voice echoed in the air. The area we are in has been covered by the Prison Heaven array. Without my permission, no one outside can come in, and no one inside can leave. Seeing that Lin Rong was so frivolous and arrogant, Ning Fengzi didn't say anything more. Even though he felt that the victory was somewhat unfair, he could get the 2 artifacts safely, so why not do it? Slowly retreating behind the 2 titled Douluo, Jian and Gu, Ning Fengzi summoned his martial spirit, the 7 treasures glazed tower, and 7 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 4 and 3 black, appeared on his body at the same time. Sword Douluo Chenzin also summoned out his own martial spirit, the 7-killing sword, which was a clear blue sword that looked like a crystal sculpture. No soul ring appeared on Chenzin's body. Instead, 9 stars were engraved on the 7-killing sword, and the colors were yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 and black. Bone Douluo Gurong completed the spirit possession with a heavy bony dragon roar. His already tall body suddenly swelled to at least 3 meters in height. Most of his flesh and blood fell off, replaced by eerie white bone armor. A pair of huge bone wings grew from the 2 ribs on his back, and a long white bone dragon tail grew from the end of the spine. Yellow, purple, black, black, black. 9 soul rings that symbolize the standard soul ring ratio of a titled Douluo appeared on his body, floating in a regular pattern. Rongrong, retreat to a safe place. Xiaotian, protect Rongrong. Ning Fengzi turned around and instructed his daughter and son-in-law, Master Ning, please rest assured, I will protect Rongrong. Oscar responded, took Ning Rongrong's hand and walked out, as far away from the center of the battle as possible. After Oscar brought Ning Rongrong to a safe area, Ning Fengzi looked at Lin Rong. Duke Lin, we can begin now. Before he finished speaking, Sword Douluo Chenzin, who had been waiting for a long time, made his move. Kill, 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 kill. A suffocating murderous aura burst out from Chen Xin, turning into a hurricane that instantly swept through every inch of space around him. The colors of the 7 soul rings on Lin Rong made Chen Xin no longer look down on him. Since the other party dared to face the 3 of them alone, he must have some support that they didn't know about. The soul power of level 96 burst out with all its strength, and the 7 killing fields unfolded. Chen Xin's figure disappeared from the spot, and what remained was a giant 7 killing sword that was 2 meters long and half a meter wide. In addition, Chen Xin's 7th soul skill, 7 killing true body. The next moment, the giant 7 killing sword swept in all directions, creating 6 black sword lights in the air. The 6 black sword lights formed a huge kill character in the air. The sharp aura cut through the space and attacked Lin Rong at lightning speed. Looking at the word kill so close to him, Lin Rong did not show any panic. Just before the word kill was about to hide him, he disappeared. The word kill formed by 6 sword lights passed through the original position of the banyan tree, and turned a large area of banyan trees behind into sawdust. What a great 7 killing sword, but its speed is not as fast as the legend says. Lin Rong appeared behind Bone Douluo Gu Rong without any warning, and the 9 curved vine dragon released pure dragon power, exerting it all on Bone Douluo. Bone dragon. Bone dragon is also a dragon, but it is a top-level dragon martial spirit that tends to be undead. But at this moment, under the might of the 9 curved vine dragon, a fear that came from the root of his blood surged from the bottom of Bone Douluo's heart. The original power of Lin Rong's otherworldly soul, the innate mother energy refined by the Marrow Cleansing Sutra, the top-level plant-based martial soul dragon soul vine, and the advanced plant-based martial soul thousand-leaf banyan together constitute the martial soul of the 9 curved vine dragon. In terms of the quality of a single-wheeled martial soul, the 9 curved vine dragon is not inferior to a god-level martial soul like the 6-winged angel. The only thing it lacks in divinity was made up for after Lin Rong refined the bloodline of the thunder god. Now, with Lin Rong's own divinity and bloodline integrated, the 9 curved vine dragon has truly become a god-level martial soul, and a god-level martial soul with true divine power. It is not like the 6-winged angels of the Jin family lineage of the Spirit Hall, who only have some of the god-level bloodline of the angel god inherited in their bloodline. The acquisition of the 7th bloodline soul ring has once again caused the 9 curved vine dragon's dragon power to experience an explosive increase. As both are dragon-type martial spirits, the 9 curved vine dragon is absolutely suppressing the bone dragon with its superior martial spirit. The extremely pure dragon might made Gu Rong feel the mournful cry of his bone dragon martial spirit, which actually disintegrated on its own without his command. His martial soul was forcibly disintegrated, and before Gu Rong could even react, he felt his eyes go dark and he lost consciousness. Just now it was 1 against 3, now it's 1 against 2. Lin Rong was suspended in the air, picked up the unconscious Gu Rong and threw him in front of the old butler. A level 95 defense title Douluo fell so easily without even a hint of resistance. This scene brought an extremely huge impact to Ning Fengzi and Chen Xin on the battlefield, as well as Ning Rongrong and Oscar watching the battle outside the battlefield. Especially Chen Xin. He had practiced against Gu Rong for decades and knew each other's strength very well. He was the most shocked and even lost consciousness for a short time. However, it's 1 against 2 now, but it will soon be 1 against 1. Taking advantage of Chen Xin's distraction, Lin Rong's figure disappeared again in the air, and appeared behind Ning Fengzi the next moment. As the incident happened suddenly, Ning Fengzi didn't have time to react before he felt a pain in his shoulder. Then his vision went dark, and he was easily defeated by Lin Rong. Like Bone Douluo, Lin Rong casually threw the unconscious Ning Fengzi to the safe area where Ning Rongrong and Oscar were, and looked at Chen Xin, who had just reacted but had not had time to take action. As it is said and done, it's now a fair one-on-one duel. A few meters away, Chen Xin's shadow appeared behind the giant 7 killing sword. He stared at Lin Rong intently, and asked with a barely perceptible tremor in his voice, "You seem to be able to appear anywhere in this banyan forest at any time. What else?" Lin Rong asked directly after hearing this. "You don't think that my 6th soul skill only has this effect of trapping the enemy, do you? We are now in a one-on-one duel. I think I am invincible. What are your chances of winning?" End of this chapter. Chapter 185, Killing Duel. In mid-air, the shadow of Chen Xin behind the giant 7-kill sword did not reply, but turned into light and shadow and merged back into the 7-kill sword. An ordinary weapon soul true body is a weapon spirit that the soul master holds in his hand and enters the form of a martial soul true body. For a person like Chen Xin whose entire body is integrated with a martial soul, in addition to skills, the quality of the martial soul itself is also crucial. The 7-kill sword is a top-level weapon spirit of the strong attack system. The spirit is the embryonic form of the 7-kill sword domain and also has the spirit talent of transforming soul rings into sword stars. The special state of weapon soul true body, where man and sword become one, cannot be achieved by ordinary sword spirit masters no matter how skilled they are, but a top-level weapon soul like the 7-killing sword can. As Chen Xin's shadow disappeared, the 7-killing sword disappeared into the air without a trace. With this soul skill, it's no wonder you are so confident when facing a 1-on-3 situation. To be fair, in a 1-on-1 fight, I am no longer sure of winning, but as long as the sword is still in my hand, I will not admit defeat. The 7-killing sword martial soul, every time you obtain a soul ring, it can transform into a sword star on the sword. Each sword star can type out a kill word in an instant, and 9 sword stars can type out 9 kill words in a row. Back then, my father typed out 9 kill characters in a row, but was defeated by the man from the spirit hall. He was also injured in the internal organs by the angel spirit power, causing my father to be seriously injured and die. Since the moment I learned that Rongrong had obtained the inheritance of the gods, it also indirectly verified the legend that the spirit hall possessed the inheritance of the gods. My father was defeated by the descendant of a god, and you are also a descendant of a god. I want to see if you, who only have the cultivation of a soul saint, can block the 9 killing characters of the 7-killing sword, like the 99-level peerless Douluo in the spirit hall. Chen Xin's faint voice sounded from all directions. When the sound disappeared, everyone present perceived a giant sword rising into the air and hovering high in the sky. Behind the giant sword, a huge shadow 5 meters tall stood in the air. The face of the shadow was exactly the same as sword Douluo Chen Xin. He gripped the hilt of the sword with both hands, and the 7-killing sword suddenly burst out with a bright and clear light. Yellow, purple, black, 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 black. A total of 9 sword stars flashed continuously on the 7-kill sword. At this moment, countless energies gathered in the huge 7-killing sword, which was swung 9 times in a row under Chen Xin's control. Every time he swung the 7-killing sword, a sword star disappeared from the sword correspondingly. One after another, the word kill appeared in the void, which was more than 10 times larger than the previous one. There are 9 words kill, and each subsequent one is bigger than the previous one, and the sharp aura it exudes is more shocking. The sky turned dark at this moment, and the murderous aura emitted by the 9 words kill above the forest swept across the area covered by the Tenglong prisoner sky formation within the range of the murderous aura. Lin Rong and the old butler easily withstood the momentum, but Ning Rongrong and Oscar, who were watching the battle from a distance, could not withstand the murderous aura that suffocated them. At the critical moment, a rice spoon and a 9-colored shawl appeared on Oscar and Ning Rongrong's bodies. Their soul power was drained by these 2 sudden artifacts, and turned into a faint 9-colored dark yellow energy shield to protect them. Zio. Ao. Ning Rongrong turned her head to look at Oscar and asked with lingering fear, "Do you think Grandpa Jian will win?" Oscar forced a bitter smile on his handsome face when he heard this. Rongrong, although I really hope Jian Douluo can win, but can a grown-up inheritor of a god really be defeated by ordinary people? If that's possible, then the gods aren't as powerful as we imagined, and our identities as the inheritors of the gods aren't that important. Perhaps the outcome of the bet was already determined from the moment Uncle Ning accepted it. Chen Xin didn't know that the aura released by the 9 words kill almost killed Ning Rongrong and Oscar. At the moment, he was completely focused on the 7-kill swords and had no time to care about anything else. Kill, 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 kill. In the air around him, the sound of Chen Xin shouting angrily 9 times could be heard. The 9 words kill floating high in the forest also attacked towards Lin Rong's location. With every roar of Chen Xin facing Chen Xin's desperate fight, Lin Rong could certainly use the banyan forest to teleport and avoid the 9 killing words, but in that case, Jian Douluo would not submit to him wholeheartedly. Therefore, Lin Rong chose to face the attack of these 9 killing words head-on on his body. The 7th soul ring representing his martial soul's true form glowed. The 300,000-year-old martial spirit incarnation engraved with 3 golden lines was released at this moment. The 9-bent vine dragon that had been surrounding Lin Rong turned into a stream of light and merged into his body. His figure also disappeared at this moment. Immediately afterwards, the space where Lin Rong was just now broke, and a giant green dragon with a length of tens of meters swam out from the void. The unity of man and dragon. Even if the 9-bend vine dragon is just an ordinary dragon-type martial spirit, Lin Rong can achieve this with the power of the Marrow Cleansing Sutra. As for the 9-curved vine dragon, which has already been promoted to god-level martial soul, this ability is just the innate ability of the martial soul. It can achieve the state of unity between man and dragon without the skills of a soul master. This was the first time that Lin Rong used the power of this soul ring. After obtaining his bloodline soul ring, a powerful, incomparably powerful force flowed through his body. Lin Rong roared, and a long and loud dragon roar resounded through the sky. In the majestic dragon eyes, the golden pupils reflected the 9 words kill in front of it. Compared with his dragon body that is dozens of meters long, these 9 huge words kill seem so insignificant. The life dragon soul exploded with all its strength, covering the entire sunset forest in an instant. At this moment, the overbearing power of the innate domain drained at least 10% of the life energy from every tree in the sunset forest. These life energies are transformed into soul power by the life dragon soul, and then refined into divine power by divinity. The azure divine power exudes the aura of the 7 elements: life, destruction, space, thunder, water, wood, and wind. Soon, the other 6 of the 7 attributes dissipated, leaving only the wind element under Lin Rong's deliberate control. The green wind blade formed by the condensed divine power formed the same word kill as Jian Daluo's go. With Lin Rong, in the form of his martial soul's true body, used his huge dragon claw to touch the void, and the green word kill collided with the 9 words kill typed by Jian Daluo without any ripples. The first black word kill was cut and dissolved by the power of wind the moment it touched the green word kill. Then came the second black word kill, and the third black word kill. When the first 8 of the 9 black kill characters were resolved, the color of the green kill character only became 3 or 4 points more transparent. In the end, the sign word kill collided with the largest 9th black word kill. This time, there was a slight pause in the green word kill, and the rich green color was gradually becoming transparent. When the color of the green kill became a little more transparent, the most powerful one among the 9 black kill was also cut and dissolved by the power of wind. Disperse. At this moment, Lin Rong's calm voice sounded in the air. The green word kill disappeared with this command just before it touched the giant 7-kill sword. But even so, the aftermath of the dissipation of the green killing word also severely injured Chen Xin. He was forced to exit the state of his martial soul's true body and fell heavily from his mouth to the ground. The outcome is decided. I win this round. This was the only voice echoing in the air. End of this chapter. Chapter 186. The Return of the 7 Treasures. Coincidentally, at this time, Ning Fengzi, who was in a coma, woke up with the help of Oscar. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Sword Daluo Chen Xin falling from the sky with blood all over his body. I lost. How could that be, Ning? Fengzi was somewhat unwilling to believe what he saw before him. The 2 of them, titled Daluo, plus himself, the world's #1 auxiliary soul master, were actually defeated so easily by a mere soul saint. Even though this soul saint was a descendant of a god, the next second, the space changed, and all the people in the banyan forest were transferred to the same place by Lin Rong using the power of space. A giant blue dragon descended from the sky and transformed into human form. The moment it landed, Lin Rong stepped forward and said calmly, "The gambling fight is over. Sect Master Ning, do you know what to do, Ning?" Fengzi looked bitter, as if he had accepted his fate, and said, "I accept defeat. From now on, the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect will submit to you." After hearing Ning Fengzi's answer, Lin Rong nodded with satisfaction, raised his hand to summon the unconscious Bone Daluo, and threw him back to Ning Fengzi and the others. Without waiting for Ning Fengzi to wake up Bone Daluo, Lin Rong once again extracted the life energy of the surrounding ancient trees and injected it into the second soul ring. Suddenly, the silver-white power of space elements enveloped them and teleported them back to the banquet hall of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect's castle. "Sir?" Ning Fengzi adjusted his mindset slightly and asked curiously, "Are all the descendants of the gods as strong as you?" While asking this question, Ning Fengzi glanced at his daughter and son-in-law out of the corner of his eye. "They are both descendants of gods, so why is there such a big gap between them? Is it because the divine inheritance obtained by his daughter and son-in-law is biased towards the auxiliary system, or is it simply because of the difference in personal talents? Of course not." Lin Rong casually found a chair to sit down and explained calmly, "There are many factors that affect the strength of the inheritors of gods, including the strength of the god's inheritance, the inheritor's own talents, the number and quality of the artifacts, The uniqueness of the martial spirit, etc. Normally, a soul saint level inheritor of a god would only have the combat power of a soul Douluo level if he holds a divine weapon. At this point, Lin Rong looked at Ning Fengzi's disbelieving expression and added, I am an exception, not within the normal range. You don't have to use me as a reference for the combat power of the heirs of the gods. After listening, Ning Fengzi glanced at Bone Douluo, who had just awakened, and continued to ask, but even so, your fighting power is a little too exaggerated, uncle. Who is a titled Douluo of the Defense Department, but you managed to defeat him with just one simple move. As soon as Bone Douluo woke up, before he got up from the ground, he heard Ning Fengzi's words. Suddenly, an endless sense of shame surged in his heart, and he couldn't help but dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. It's spirit suppression. Sword Douluo Chenzin glanced at Bone Douluo, who was pretending to be unconscious on the ground, and explained for Lin Rong, the 7 killing sword is a weapon-type spirit. The degree to which it is affected by the dragon's might is the least among all spirit types, but even so, the pure dragon might emanating from the giant blue dragon made my 7 killing sword tremble with fear, and it almost failed to exert its full combat power. Old Bone's martial soul is the bone dragon. As a dragon-type martial soul, it is affected by the dragon's might far more than other types of beast martial souls. Therefore, the opponent only released the dragon's might to suppress the bone dragon with the upper martial spirit, forcing the old bone to disintegrate its martial spirit. Without the spirit possessing him, the scene we saw, where old bone was easily knocked down by the other party, would not have happened. Chen Zin's explanation gave Ning Fengzi a new guess about Lin Rong's divine inheritance. Before the gambling fight, Lin Rong told them that both Moonlight Love and Thor's Hammer were redundant artifacts, which meant that these 2 artifacts were not the artifacts that Lin Rong used to obtain the divine inheritance. Such a powerful dragon attribute. Could it be that the god's name is the dragon god? Seeing that Ning Fengzi stopped asking questions, Lin Rong began to talk about business. Master Ning, give me the suit of armor among the gifts that the Tang sect sent to your daughter. Hearing this, Ning Fengzi was a little confused, but he still obeyed and turned to look at his daughter and instructed, Rongrong, give that set of armor to Lord Lin. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong glanced at Oscar when receiving the gifts. In order to give face to the Tang clan, those old and shabby things were said to be things Oscar liked, so naturally those things were accepted by Oscar. After receiving Ning Rongrong's gaze, Oscar walked up to Lin Rong, took out the armor from the soul guide and placed it on the ground. After putting it away, Lin Rong stretched out his hand to summon a pair of sledgehammers placed on the hands of the armor, and carefully sensed the power contained in the hammers. The twin Hercules hammers. 1 hammer is 1 artifact, a pair of hammers is 2 artifacts, plus the rest of the Hateful Land Ringless set. A complete set of artifacts is made up of several artifacts. As gods, let's not talk about the quality. In terms of the number of divine weapons alone, Hercules is second only to Rong Nianbing, the 1st generation god of emotions. Rong Nianbing is the man who possesses the most divine artifacts in the entire god realm, with a total of 8 divine artifacts, and each of them is not an ordinary artifact. It is simply astonishing. Now that I have obtained the inheritance of the throne of Hercules, it would be better if I could also get the inheritance of the throne of the god of emotions. However, there are too many uncertainties in emotions. Theoretically, anyone can hope to inherit the throne of the god of emotions, but it is not easy to find on the side. Ning Fengzi saw Lin Rong staring at the pile of hammers in a daze, and couldn't help but ask out of curiosity, Sir, among so many gifts, why did you specifically request this set of armor? It can't be a divine weapon. Ning Fengzi's words interrupted Lin Rong's thoughts. He put away the armor and corrected calmly, Wrong, it is not a sacred artifact. After hearing this, Ning Fengzi was about to speak when he heard Lin Rong continue, it's a set of divine tools. This set of armor is called the Hateful Land Ringless set. It is composed of several artifacts, and the artifact set also contains the inheritance of Hercules' throne. This is also the whereabouts of another artifact that I will tell you if you win the bet. Crack. The sound of heartbreaking was heard. Ning Fengzi's face looked as if he had eaten Coptis chinensis. It was as ugly as it could be. If he had known this earlier, he would have suppressed his curiosity and not asked this question. It would have been better if he hadn't mentioned it. Once he mentioned it, he realized that he had a complete set of magical weapons in his hands, but now they flew away right before his eyes. This feeling is so sad that I don't know how to express it in words. End of this chapter. Chapter 187. 7 Original Sins, Pride, Anger, Desire. Wuhan City, Wuhan Academy Martial Soul Mimicry Training Field. A pale young man was leaning against a tree. He has an extremely handsome appearance. If you look closely, you will find red butterfly patterns at the corners of his eyes, which make him look even more enchantingly beautiful. His silver clothes matched his silver hair very well, and his slender figure, which was at least 1.9 meters tall, further highlighted his uncanny handsomeness. The handsome man looked at the other side of the tree and asked softly, "Yan, have you decided which soul beast to choose for your fifth soul ring?" "Not yet." A man with short red hair and wearing a fiery red battle robe answered from the other side of the tree. Unlike the slender figure of a handsome man, his figure is very sturdy and strong, with clear lines of skin and muscles exposed, giving people a sense of strong power. He retracted his gaze that had been directed towards the depths of the forest, turned his head to look at the handsome man beside him, and said in an excited tone, "If we hadn't obtained this kind of inheritance, and if the Pope hadn't given us those 3 soul bones in advance, we wouldn't have been able to break through to level 50 at this point in time. Otherwise, according to the previous training speed, if you want to break through a level 50, you will need to practice for at least 1 or 2 more years. The breakthrough time has been advanced so far. How could I have figured out which soul beast to get the 5th soul ring from? Let's not talk about me. You, have you decided which soul beast you want to get your 5th soul ring from?" "That's not the case." Ziyu raised his head and answered in a rather arrogant tone, "But it doesn't really matter what kind of soul beast it is. My requirements are not high. As long as the soul beast is old enough and the soul beast species is strong enough, it will be fine. My Moonblade is not as picky as your Flame Lord. When the time comes, I will go to the Sky Dou Great Forest and try my luck. If I encounter a suitable powerful 10,000-year soul beast, I will capture it directly." Use Martial Soul. Moonblade is a weapon martial soul, and it is a weapon-type weapon martial soul. The advantage of this kind of martial soul is that the martial soul itself has a high degree of compatibility with any soul beast, and the options for obtaining soul rings are far higher than other types of martial souls. Yan's martial soul is the ancient martial soul, the Flame Lord, which is a top-grade martial soul with fire attribute. The best choice for his martial soul to obtain soul rings is also limited to soul beasts with fire attribute. Although there are many soul beasts with fire attributes, there are only a few powerful ones. Even in the Sky Dou Great Forest, the largest gathering place for soul beasts in the entire continent, you still need to rely on luck to encounter these soul beasts of the right age. Yan turned his gaze back to the depths of the forest, where one of them was trying to break through the bottleneck of level 50. The waiting time passed quickly. About an hour later, a tall blonde woman walked out from the depths of the forest in the sunlight. The woman's short golden hair was shiny and smooth, making her already fair skin look even whiter and smoother. Her eyes are bright and lively, as if they can see into people's hearts. With her exquisite facial features, her whole body is filled with endless charm. Nana, Yu and Yan moved forward synchronously. Hulina had just broken through level 50 and was in a good mood at the moment, so she was not angry because Yan called her Nana, brother. Hulina looked at Ziyu with a competitive tone in her voice. "My soul power level has finally caught up with yours. Although you broke through a month earlier than me, I am 1 year younger than you." She said these words. The seductive aura that emanated from her all the time suddenly weakened a bit after hearing what his sister said. Ziyu's arrogant expression disappeared, and was replaced by an extremely doting expression. He said, "Nana, your cultivation speed has always been a little faster than mine. Although I am 1 year older than you, sooner or later you will catch up with me in cultivation progress. Besides, you are a disciple of His Holiness the Pope, so you must live up to this excellence." When Hulina heard her brother mention Pope Ibidong, she couldn't help but think of that man, and her mood sank. She said, "Uzia Gang, that fame-seeking fellow, I don't know what tricks he used to confuse the teacher and make the teacher agree to let him teach us." As soon as these words were spoken, the 3 of them recalled the miserable days they had endured under Uzia Gang's command. What a master of theory! The training plan he assigned to them was actually weighted running, and some other miscellaneous stuff, which made them not know what to say. But Pope Ibidong's eyes were full of Uzia Gang, and the status of Hulina, her disciple and goddaughter, in her heart was directly pushed to the corner by Uzia Gang. Her true love Ibidong approved of all of Uzia Gang's training plans, which seemed outrageous to Hulina and the other 2, and she forced the 3 of them to follow them. Fortunately, these tormented days only lasted a few months. And one night, they all obtained the legendary inheritance of the gods. Ziyu obtained the inheritance of the god of pride, one of the 7 deadly sins, and the artifact Pride Sorrow Yan obtained the inheritance of the God of Wrath, one of the 7 deadly sins. And the artifact Fire of Wrath Hulina obtained the inheritance of the God of Desire, one of the 7 deadly sins, and the artifact Eye of Desire Bibi Dong found out about this the day after the 3 of them received the divine inheritance. Of course, they took the initiative to tell Bibi Dong about this matter, with the purpose of getting rid of Yu Xiaogang's training. The reason is very sufficient. No matter how powerful Yu Xiaogang's theory is, it is only applicable to ordinary soul masters. But they are the inheritors of gods. They should follow the instructions of the god's inheritance on how to train, rather than the training plan formulated by Yu Xiaogang. Bibi Dong herself is the inheritor of Rakshasa God and is well aware of this matter, but her obsession with Yu Xiaogang makes her choose not to help either side. As a result, an extremely heated debate broke out between Yu Xiaogang and Hulina. Although the process was tortuous and full of hardships, Hulina and her team were eventually given the autonomy to train independently. In exchange, they must acknowledge that Yu Xiaogang is their teacher, and all the achievements are made by following Yu Xiaogang's arrangements. Whenever they think of this, their faces become as ugly as if they had eaten, just like now. Thank God for allowing us to inherit the divine heritage. Otherwise, if I had really trained under that old man for my entire life, I would have had a mental breakdown. Among the 3, Ziyu has the most arrogant personality, which is why he inherited the legacy of the God of Pride. But it is precisely because of his aloof character that he looks down on Yu Xiaogang, a useless gigolo, much more than his sister. And Yan, he was able to hold on to Yu Xiaogang for several months thanks to the constant persuasion of Yan and his sister. Otherwise, according to his temperament, he would have hit Yu Xiaogang on the neck at any rate. End of this chapter. Chapter 188, Gathering in the Star Forest. It's so spectacular. It's worthy of being the largest forest on this continent. You can't see such a magnificent view on the island. In the Star Forest, Jixiang stood not far away and looked at the endless green ocean in front of him. The refreshing autumn breeze blows towards you from the direction of the forest, carrying with it the unique fragrance of plants that is refreshing to the heart. Jixiang walked slowly towards the Star Forest, but he seemed to be talking to the air, saying something non-stop. Teacher, it's already autumn. Why can't I see any dead leaves in this forest? Before he finished speaking, a thin gray air current surged out of Jixiang's body and condensed into an illusory figure of an old man. The old man floated beside Jixiang, stroking his beard, and said with a smile, "It's just different types of trees. Some trees are evergreen all year round and never lose their leaves." Thinking back to my hometown, there seems to be a big forest, not smaller than the Star Forest. However, I only have a trace of consciousness after all, and my memory is incomplete. I have forgotten the name of the forest in my hometown. After entering the forest, Alex's expression straightened up, and he said to Jixiang in a very cautious tone, "Disciple, the Xingdao Great Forest is the largest gathering place for soul beasts in your world. It is not as simple as it seems. In nature, the more beautiful things are, the more dangerous they are. Don't be blinded by the beautiful scenery of this primeval forest. Stay alert, as danger may arise at any time. If you encounter danger, hide in my undead demiplane as soon as possible. Saving your life is the most important thing." Although his tone was cautious, his words were full of concern, which made Jixiang feel warm in his heart. He responded solemnly, "Teacher, rest assured. I understand." "Yes." Alex nodded, and his whole body turned into a gray airflow and returned to Jixiang's sea of consciousness. To cultivate the best age for the 3rd soul ring is comparable to that of a 1,000-year soul beast, but Jixiang is currently only a quasi-soul master at level 30 and cannot cope with it on his own. Therefore, if he encounters a suitable 1,000-year soul beast, he will be the main force of the attack, so he now needs to conserve his energy in preparation for the next battle. Star Forest, here we come again. Among the group from the Spirit Hall, Ziyu walked at the front of the team, his face full of arrogance but unable to hide his excitement. 2 years ago, he and Yam came here to obtain the 4th soul ring. 2 years later, they and his sister will come here to obtain the 5th soul ring, the first 10,000-year soul ring in a soul master's life. The significance it represents is enough to make any soul master who has broken through to level 50 excited. Of course, the prerequisite is that there is a soul master with a capital to obtain a 5th soul ring of 10,000 years. Those soul masters with a 5th soul ring of 1,000 years can be ignored. Ziyu, Yan, and Hulina are the golden generation of the Spirit Hall. Hulina is the disciple of Pope Bibi Dong. This time they came to the Star Dao Great Forest to obtain the 5th soul ring. The Spirit Hall sent 3 Soul Douluo level powerhouses to escort them. Among these 3 Contras, there's Sereth, who was demoted to Cardinal at this time. Salas was walking at the end of the team, looking straight ahead with a wondering look, as if he was thinking about something. Although he fell from a Platinum Bishop to a Red Cardinal, everyone knew that he was taking the blame for Pope Ibidong. In addition, with his strength as a high-level Soul Douluo, his status in the Spirit Hall did not decrease much. Pope Ibidong secretly gave the soul bones that were originally intended to be the rewards for the champions of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite Competition 3 years later to 3 people from the Golden Generation and Advance. Salith was aware of this, but that was all he knew. The only people who knew about the fact that the 3 people of the Golden Generation had inherited the divine legacy were the Golden Generation themselves, Bibidong and Yu Xiaogang. Therefore, even though he had absorbed the soul power attached to the soul bone, because Salus did not know about the inheritance of the gods, he was still doubtful about the abnormal cultivation speed of Yu and the other 2 at the front of the team. 3 members of the Golden Generation were whispering about matters related to the 5th soul ring. "You, Nana, we have absorbed the 10,000-year soul bone, and our physical fitness has been greatly improved. The maximum age that the 5th soul ring can absorb should be increased to more than 20,000 years. What do you think?" Among the 3, Yan was the first to bring up this topic. "Yan, I've told you so many times, call me by my full name, don't call me Nana." Hulina raised her eyebrows when she heard that the existence of the fox spirit makes her exude charm all the time. After inheriting the legacy of the god of desire, her ability in this area has been greatly enhanced. Yan already had deep feelings for Hulina, and after Hulina's charm increased, he fell in love with her even more. In his eyes, his Nana was so charming even with this angry little expression. "Okay, Nana." The 3 of them had practiced together for so long that Yu had long been accustomed to this scene. He skillfully changed the topic and said, "Let's talk business. I think we are fully capable of absorbing spirit rings of more than 20,000 years. Don't forget, we still have that one." The ones he was referring to were naturally the 3 artifacts of pride, fire of rage, and eye of desire. However, their identities as the inheritors of the gods needed to be kept secret, and Yu took into consideration the presence of 3 soul Daluos, so he spoke very cryptically, "That's right." Hulina took over her brother's words and whispered, "And the age of the wisdom scale of spiritual concentration that I absorbed is extremely high, more than 50,000 years old. Adding that, I estimate that I can absorb spirit rings under 30,000 years old. Brother, I remember you told me that when you and Yan came to the Xingdao Great Forest to hunt for spirit rings last time, you encountered a 3-eyed demon fox that was nearly 30,000 years old. If I can encounter it this time, I will use it as my 5th spirit ring, 3-eyed demon fox. Let me think about it." Hearing his sister's words, Yu tried hard to recall where he met the 3-eyed demon fox when he came to obtain the 4th soul ring last time. Generally speaking, soul beasts have their own range of activities, and unless they are driven out by other soul beasts, they rarely take the initiative to leave the territory they have occupied. Therefore, the 3-eyed demon fox, whose cultivation was close to 30,000 years old, should still be near the area where he met it last time. The place where he met the 3-eyed demon fox was the junction of the outer and inner areas of the Xingdao Great Forest. Normally, a 1,000-year-old soul beast that wants to obtain its 4th soul ring does not need to go so deep into the starred out Great Forest, but he was unlucky at the time and could not find a satisfactory soul beast, so he kept going deeper and deeper, and thus accidentally encountered the 3-eyed demon fox. The 3-eyed demon fox is a relatively rare soul beast with spiritual attributes. Not only is it the same fox type as Hulina's fox spirit, but it also has the same spiritual attributes. It can be said that the 3-eyed demon fox is the most suitable choice as Hulina's spirit ring, but at that time, Yu did not take the encounter with the 3-eyed demon fox to heart, because the 3-eyed demon fox's cultivation years were very embarrassing. The optimal soul ring ratio is that the 5th soul ring is about 12,000 years old, the 6th soul ring is about 20,000 years old, and the 7th soul ring is more than 30,000 years and less than 50,000 years old. Therefore, for a normal genius soul master who has not absorbed soul bones, the 5th and 6th soul rings are too high, and the 7th soul ring is too low for a period of nearly 30,000 years. He also mentioned it casually when chatting with his sister. He didn't expect that because of the divine inheritance and the 10,000-year soul bone, his sister would be able to absorb soul rings less than 30,000 years old when she had the 5th soul ring. The Last time I encountered the three-eyed demon fox was at the junction of the inner and outer parts of the starred out Great Forest. If we keep going deeper in this direction and don't deviate from it, we should be able to find that place smoothly. You pointed out the direction and walked in front of the team to lead the way somewhere in the forest. A group of people were walking. Is this the Xingdao Great Forest? Yunwei walked in the middle of the team, exuding the liveliness and innocence of a young girl, and said in a brisk tone, "When I knew I was going to come here to obtain spirit rings, I consulted a lot of ancient books. I thought the descriptions of the starred-out Great Forest were exaggerated, but I didn't expect that the real Star Forest is far more magnificent than what is described in ancient books." There was not only Yunwei in the team, but also Ning Rongrong, the young master of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect, and a cold woman with a black veil on her face. This cold and aloof woman is Yi Lingling, who successfully inherited the power of the god of love unlike the innocent and lively Yunwei, and also unlike the noble and elegant Ning Rongrong. Yi Lingling walked silently in the team. She was dressed in black and had a black veil on her face. Except for the area above her eyes, the rest of her skin was covered by the clothes. She had long blue hair draped over her shoulders like a waterfall, and her eyes, the same color as her hair, were as deep and quiet as the sea, revealing no emotion. Even though she had inherited the power of the god of love, it did not seem to dispel the loneliness and desolation that emanated from her. Her mother died giving birth to her, and her grandfather died because she awakened her martial spirit. The death of her mother and grandfather is a sorrow that Yi Lingling will never be able to heal. So what if she has inherited the love god's legacy? So what if she has lifted the curse of the nine-hearted begonia? If she could bring her mother and grandfather back, she would rather give up the inheritance of the god of love and have a complete and warm family among the three women. Ning Rongrong walked between two of them. She glanced at Yunwei, who is walking on her left, then at Yi Lingling, who is walking on her right, and finally at Lin Rong, who was sitting on the back of the nine-curved vine dragon in front of the team. Her eyes were full of complexity. This person is 1 month younger than her. 5.5 years ago, he was a soul master who had just obtained his first soul ring. But now, he is a soul saint with combat power comparable to that of a titled Douluo, and he even has more than one inheritor of the gods under his command. She herself is the inheritor of the nine-colored goddess, Yunwei is the inheritor of the god of kindness, Yi Lingling is the inheritor of the god of love, and her future husband Oscar is the inheritor of the god of food, as well as Lin Rong, the inheritor of an unknown god. This team consists of 5 inheritors of gods, plus the Thor inheritance and Hercules inheritance, which have not yet been selected, which makes up the 7 great god inheritances. When she first learned about it, Ning Rongrong's 3 views were shattered, and she almost doubted her life. Since when did the inheritance of gods become available wholesale? This was because Ning Rongrong didn't know that Feng Xiaotian, the inheritor of the god of wind, was Lin Rong's man, and that Hongjun, the inheritor of the god of fire, existed. Otherwise, she would have really become mentally ill due to such excessive stimulation. There are 4 people who come to the starred-out Great Forest and need to obtain spirit rings to advance. They are Ning Rongrong, Yi Lingling, Yunwei and Oscar. Oscar needs to obtain the 3rd soul ring to advance to Soul Master. Yunwei needs to obtain 2 spirit rings at least. The specific spirit power level depends on whether she can increase her spirit power to level 30. After absorbing the spirit rings, Yi Lingling needs to obtain the 4th soul ring to advance to Soul Sect. Her original soul power is only level 34, which does not meet the requirements for advancement. However, because the martial soul curse is lifted, the nine-hearted begonia releases a large amount of pure soul power, which directly soars her soul power to level 40. Ning Rongrong needs to obtain the 5th soul ring, and the soul beast is the gem martial soul that Ning Fengzi has already found in the starred-out Great Forest, a 32,000-year-old green water clam. This was originally the soul beast that served as her 6th soul ring. The original 5th soul ring was found by her father in the Sunset Forest, an agate unicorn that was more than 15,000 years old. But after Lin Rong found out, she disliked the agate unicorn's low level of cultivation and told her that her current physical fitness was enough to withstand a soul ring below 35,000 years old. So she chose the 32,000-year-old green water clam as her 5th soul ring instead. The 4 people who need to obtain spirit rings are all descendants of gods, and the starred-out Great Forest is full of dangers. Therefore, Ning Fengzi once proposed to Lin Rong that Uncle Jian and Uncle Gu, 2 titled Douluo, accompany them to the starred-out Great Forest, but Lin Rong directly rejected Ning Fengzi's proposal. Chenzin and Gu Rong, the 2 titled Douluo, were very famous in the Soul Master world and were almost known to everyone. They were just juniors hunting for spirit rings, but they sent out 2 titled Douluo to escort them. This would only arouse suspicion and increase the risk of their identities as inheritors of gods being exposed. Moreover, the forest is Lin Rong's home ground. As of now, there may be people in this world that he cannot deal with in the forest, but no one can take his life and the lives of those he wants to protect in a primeval forest of the level of the starred out Great Forest. Therefore, in their team, apart from Oscar and the other 4 who needed to obtain spirit rings to advance, there were only Lin Rong and the old butler accompanying them. They walked deeper into the forest. Although the atmosphere in the team was not very active, it was very relaxed and comfortable. They did not have the necessary vigilance as they should have in the starred out Great Forest, the largest gathering place for soul beasts in the entire continent. There was no way. Among the 6 of them, Lin Rong and the old butler were strong enough to not fear the dangers of the starred out Great Forest. Ning Rongrong, Oscar and Yunwei had also witnessed Lin Rong's strength, so they were not panicked at all. Yu Lingling, on the other hand, looked down on everything and had already put life and death aside. They advanced very quickly, and thus arrived at the outskirts of the starred out Great Forest, the area where the 100-year-old soul beasts were active. Half a day later, end of this chapter, chapter 189. The God of Cookery. Yunwei's martial soul is a flawless pure white flower, but this does not mean that she must obtain soul rings from flower-type soul beasts. Pure white flowers symbolize kindness, so some specific animal soul beasts are more compatible with their martial souls than most flower soul beasts. For example, at a stream not far from them, a group of sheep were drawing water to quench their thirst. This sheep is not that kind of sheep. It is not a domestic animal raised by humans, but a herbivorous soul beast. It is gentle and kind by nature, and is in harmony with a pure white flower. Master, do you really want to attack them? Behind a tree not far from the stream, Yunwei looked at the group of cute and gentle sheep soul beasts in front of him, and said with some pity, "They are so innocent and cute." Lin Rong had anticipated this situation and had made preparations in advance. He looked at Yunwei, a smile appeared on his face, and he said, "Innocent, but I remember you ate mutton hot pot with great relish. Originally, I was planning to make a mutton hot pot right here after you absorbed the spirit ring produced by the sheep. Since you can't bear it, forget it." After hearing this, Yunwei, who had a look of reluctance just now, suddenly had bright eyes. She recalled the taste of the mutton hot pot, which was so fresh and tender, so mellow, that she couldn't help but drool. Suck a sound. Yunwei wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth with his sleeve and said without hesitation, "Well, master, I changed my mind. Sheep is delicious. No, I mean sheep is very compatible with my martial spirit. Look, they are so gentle and kind. I believe they won't mind dedicating themselves to us." Ning Rongrong couldn't help but chuckle at Yunwei's inconsistent look. Even Yu Lingling's cold face hidden under the black veil was infected by her energetic girlish aura, and an imperceptible smile unconsciously appeared on her face. Although Yunwei is the oldest among the 3 girls, 3 months older than Yu Lingling of the same age, she is young and inexperienced and has a naive and lively personality, and behaves like a little girl of 11 or 12 years old. On the contrary, Ning Rongrong, a real 11-year-old girl, was calm and quiet along the way because of the aristocratic elite education she received since childhood. She behaved generously and appropriately, like an elderly lady. There are a total of 27 sheep in the herd by the stream, and their cultivation levels range from a dozen years to several hundred years. The leading sheep has been cultivating for more than 700 years, which is perfect for being Yunwei's first soul ring. Oscar Lin Rong had no desire to attack the flock of sheep in front of him, so he turned his head to look at Oscar and whispered, "Can you take down the leader of the flock?" "Of course, yes," Oscar responded with a grin on the side, but he turned serious halfway through his words under Lin Rong's gaze. "Xiao. Ao, are you okay?" Seeing Oscar agreed, Ning Rongrong asked out of concern, "Although sheep are docile, soul beasts are soul beasts after all, and they are different from livestock. Even if they are not aggressive, that is only relative to other soul beasts. Don't be too confident when facing a group of sheep soul beasts alone." Oscar was very touched by Ning Rongrong's concern and said, "Rongrong, don't underestimate me. I am the man favored by the god of food. You are just a group of sheep, just the ingredients for a dish on the recipe. Just watch me and see how I clean them up with my big rice spoon." After saying that, Oscar raised his right hand in a very childish manner. A ray of white light appeared in the palm of his hand, and then condensed into a wooden rice spoon that was as tall as a person. The cultivation level of a level 30 quasi-soul master, if converted into soul beast years, is about 7 or 800, which is comparable to the sheep leader who is more than 700 years old. Although the food-type soul master himself has no combat power, Oscar is not an ordinary food-type soul master, but the inheritor of the god of food with the god of cookery's artifact, the rice spoon, in his hand. His combat power is no worse than that of a soul master of the same level with ordinary martial spirits. The only thing he lacks is fighting experience. Ever since Oscar inherited the god of cookery's legacy, he has been looking for a suitable opportunity to do something big, and the current situation is just what he wants. Oscar rushed into the direction of the sheep herd, holding a large rice spoon as tall as himself in both hands as a sacred artifact of the god of food. The big rice spoon has a natural suppression on edible creatures. Sheep, a dish that often appears on the table, is no exception. Therefore, from the moment the big rice spoon appeared, the flock of sheep that were still drawing water to quench their thirst felt a fear rising from the depths of their blood. Sheep with an age of less than 100 years were unable to move due to this fear, and sheep over 100 years old were breathing heavily and could hardly move. Only sheep over 500 years old were able to move with difficulty under this fear, and they completely lost their combat effectiveness, including the sheep leader who was over 700 years old. Therefore, they could only watch helplessly as the demon holding the object that caused them fear walked towards them step by step. No way. The artifact is so effective. Oscar was disappointed when he saw that the sheep had completely lost their fighting power. He thought he could have a good fight. However, although he felt a little regretful, he had a new understanding of the power of the artifact. Right now he is just a quasi-soul master. After injecting his soul power into the god of cookery's rice spoon, he will have such power. In the future, when he improves his soul power, even more power will be created. Oscar calmed down and looked at the flock of sheep that had lost their ability to move, revealing a sinister smile with ill intentions. Although it's a pity that we didn't have the battle process, the result is hard to change. All of you should just obediently become my meal. Ah. Ha 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 ha. As he talked and laughed, Oscar wielded a large rice spoon with both hands and hit the sheep's head hard with the spoon head, which was as big as a human head. Dong dong dong. 27 consecutive dull knocking sounds were heard, and all the 27 sheep were knocked unconscious by Oscar. Done. Oscar struck a pose thinking he looked handsome, then put away the rice spoon and dragged the sheep leader weighing hundreds of pounds back with some difficulty. A few minutes later, Oscar dragged the sheep leader to Yunhu, panting, "I'm so tired. If I had a soul guide that could store living things, I wouldn't have had to drag this soul beast back with such difficulty just now." Soul guides are rare, and soul guides that can store living things are even rarer. Only a few of them have been passed down from aristocratic families and sects with a very long history. Although Oscar is the son-in-law of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect, he will not take the initiative to ask for this kind of thing, and the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect will not find a soul guide for him that can store living things. Little brother Ao, thank you for your hard work. Yunwei walked up to him considerately and took out a water bag from the soul guide and handed it to Oscar. Facing the water bag handed over by Yunwei, Oscar stole a glance at Ning Rongrong. After looking at her carefully and finding that his wife didn't mind, he took the water bag and drank from it. Ning Rongrong saw all of Oscar's self-perceived subtle actions, but she just smiled and did not expose her fiancé because she knew that Oscar did this because he cared about his fiancé's feelings. If she showed an expression of concern, she would not accept the water bag handed to her by Yunwei. The reason why Ning Rongrong didn't mind was because after this period of contact, she got to know Yunwei very well and knew that she was just a very naive and simple person without any complicated thoughts. You already know how to obtain spirit rings. Hurry up and finish it off. After absorbing its spirit ring, we will rest for a while and then continue to look for your next spirit ring. Lin Rong stepped forward and handed Yunwei a dagger that was shining coldly. Understood. Yunwei took the dagger, looked at the cute sheep in coma in front of him, and tried hard to recall the taste of shabu-shabu mutton to strengthen his determination to take action. Poof! The sharp dagger pierced into the sheep leader's brain. As the flowing blood dyed the sheep's white for red, a deep yellow soul ring slowly condensed and took shape above the sheep. Is this the spirit ring? Among the crowd, only Yunwei saw the process of spirit ring formation for the first time, so he was very curious. 700 years of the first spirit ring, I dare not even think about it. Since Yunwei surrendered to Lin Rong, He has been cramming a lot of common sense about the world of soul masters under the arrangement of the old housekeeper as an indispensable part of the soul master system. Soul rings are naturally of paramount importance. Yun Wei had already learned the differences and distinctions between the 10-year spirit ring, the 100-year spirit ring, the 1,000-year spirit ring, the 10,000-year spirit ring, and the legendary 100,000-year spirit ring from professional books. Although it is recorded in books that the maximum lifespan of a normal soul master's first soul ring is around 400 years. It is already rare for an ordinary soul master's first soul ring to last for more than 100 years. In addition, even for some disciples of aristocratic families with profound cultural background, the average age of their first soul ring is only about 300 years. And there are very few geniuses who are capable of absorbing the ultimate soul ring, and now he was able to absorb the first soul ring of 700 years. This behavior beyond common sense awakened the inferiority hidden deep in Yun Wei's heart. Yun Wei was born into a poor family and was an orphan without a father or a mother. Her experiences from childhood to adulthood made her instinctively believe that she was not worthy of such a good thing. Lin Rong knew about Yun Wei's inferiority complex, but he also knew that this inferiority complex, which had been developed since childhood, could not be changed in a short period of time. Time is the best medicine. This inferiority complex will gradually disappear with the wind under the healing power of time. Concentrate your mind and calm your breath. Use the Zhuanshan Guang to track the soul ring to absorb the energy within. Seeing Yun Wei standing there in a daze and not absorbing the soul ring, Lin Rong reminded him at the right time. Yun Wei instinctively chose to obey Lin Rong's words, which made her forget the inferiority in her heart, release her martial soul, and pull the soul ring onto her martial soul. According to the instructions, Yun Wei's martial soul was in line with the position of the god of kindness, but her martial soul had not awakened her companion's soul power, which resulted in her being just an ordinary person with no soul power before she met the dark demon evil god tiger. The ability to save people gained from the third level of the Zisa Sutra made Lin Rong realize that Yun Wei was very loyal to him. In order to help Yun Wei grow quickly, he invested a lot of resources in her. This included but was not limited to using the 10,000-year-old ginseng picked from the yin-yang eye to open up its 8 extraordinary meridians, and taking out the 47,000-year-old skull soul bone obtained from Tang Hao for it to absorb. With such a multi-pronged approach, Yun Wei was able to improve his soul power from scratch to at least level 20 in just 2 or 3 months. Yun Wei's current physical fitness is not much worse than that of an ordinary quasi-soul master. In theory, it should be enough to absorb the first soul ring of 1,000 years. However, Lin Rong took into account the difference between a 1,000-year soul ring and a 100-year soul ring, and that it was Yun Wei's first time absorbing a soul ring, so he reduced the age of his first soul ring to 700 or 800 years. The soul ring was absorbed smoothly. In less than half an hour, Yun Wei had completely absorbed this soul ring that was more than 700 years old. The absorption of the soul ring broke Yun Wei's soul power bottleneck. The soul power accumulated in her body emerged and directly reached the level of a quasi-grand soul master at level 20. While waiting for Yun Wei to absorb the soul ring, the sheep leader she killed, under Lin Rong's instructions, asked Oscar to use the god of cookery's rice spoon to transform into various kitchen utensils and make a mutton hot pot. The rich aroma of the hot pot soup base drifted through the woods. Yun Wei, who had just absorbed the soul ring, smelled this familiar smell before he even opened his eyes. The smell aroused Yun Wei's greed, and she rushed to the seat reserved for her at the dining table without saying a word, sat down, picked up the bowl and chopsticks, and started eating the mutton hot pot she had been craving for. It smells so good, it's worthy of being the god of cookery's divine tool. The dishes cooked with a big rice spoon actually have a flavor bonus. No wonder Rong Nianbing is the best cook in the god realm, but the position of god of cookery belongs to someone else. Lin Rong sat on a rattan chair, savoring the mutton slices, thinking, as the god of cookery, his divine weapon must have extraordinary functions in cooking. Rong Nianbing's divine weapon is just 8 different knives. Although they are extremely powerful, they don't have any special bonus in cooking or dishes. With this in mind, Lin Rong shifted his gaze from his own bowl to Oscar. He thought to himself that since the god of cookery artifact had this effect, he might as well let Oscar take over his position as chef in the Duke's mansion in the future, which would make the best use of it and avoid wasting the position of the god of cookery. Oscar was enjoying his hot pot when he suddenly felt a chill in his heart for some reason. His whole body shivered slightly, giving him a bad feeling. Forget it. If I get addicted to the dishes made by the god of cookery's rice spoon, it would be troublesome if I can't quit. Besides, Grandpa Yu's cooking is not bad either, and the god of cookery's big rice spoon can't make dishes that have the flavor of family love. Lin Rong changed his mind and rejected the idea that had just occurred to him. This instantly dispelled Oscar's ominous premonition, making him wonder if he had just had an illusion. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190, The Choice of Soul Ring. The aroma of the thick soup in the bowl continued to stimulate Oscar's taste buds, making him quickly put the matter behind him. Next, we will continue to go deeper into the Xingdao Great Forest and head to the outer central area, where the 1,000-year soul beasts roam. Lin Rong blew on the soup in his hand, glanced at Oscar from the corner of his eye, and said, "Oscar, do you have a target soul beast in mind for your third soul ring?" "Ah, a 1,000-year soul beast? Sister Kei Yunhu's second soul ring." Oscar was stunned when he heard it, and his tone was a little confused, but he had just said halfway when he realized that Yunwei's first soul ring was more than 700 years old, which was comparable to the maximum age of a normal soul master's second soul ring. Therefore, Yunwei's second soul ring is fully capable of absorbing the soul rings produced by 1,000-year soul beasts, which is equivalent to the third soul ring of the normal soul master. The second soul ring is 1,000 years old, and maybe its age is even higher than his third soul ring. Thinking of this, Oscar suddenly felt that the mutton in the bowl was no longer fragrant, but he quickly hid these emotions deep in his heart and answered Lin Rong's question. "I don't have a soul beast that I'm interested in. My first 2 spirit rings were chosen for me by teacher Xiaotian. I never worried about this aspect. Besides, my martial soul is sausage, which can basically match the soul ring produced by any soul beast. If I were to think about it myself, I really can't figure out which soul beast I need to get my next soul ring from." This answer is consistent with Oscar's lazy and unmotivated appearance. Before he met his true love Ning Rongrong, the first top-notch talent of the food type with innate full soul power in the history of Douluo continent, was wasted in vain. If you don't know what type of soul beast you want, then think about what type of soul skills you want. Once you have a goal, you will know which soul beasts you can get the soul skills you want from. Lin Rong did not directly tell Oscar which soul beast he should get the third soul ring from, but instead gave him some pointers in this way, allowing him to make his own choice. The soul skill I want myself. Oscar put down the bowl and chopsticks in his hands and lowered his head to think. His first 2 soul skills were the recovery sausage and the detoxification sausage. The first soul skill, the recovery sausage, which can restore soul power and injuries, and can be used as ordinary food to satisfy hunger. The second soul skill, detoxifying sausage, which can detoxify. The effect is not very strong, but it can be taken continuously to enhance the detoxification effect. His first 2 soul skills already possess the abilities of recovery and detoxification. As a food-type soul master with auxiliary responsibilities, he needed a soul skill that could improve the self-protection ability of himself and his companions. After figuring out what soul skill he wanted, Oscar looked up at Lin Rong and said, "My lord, I want a soul skill that can improve my ability to save my life. Which soul beast should I get this soul skill from?" "There are many ways to save your life, but yours is not specific enough." Lin Rong drank the soup in the bowl slowly and said, "Besides, I'm not an encyclopedia, and I don't know all the information about soul beasts, but I have a complete list of soul beast species here. You can take a look at it." As he spoke, a thick book appeared above Lin Rong's right hand and slowly floated in front of Oscar. The soul beast information in this soul beast encyclopedia all comes from the accumulation of the spirit hall over thousands of years, and was compiled by Yu Yuan from various ancient books in the spirit hall's library. When Xinian followed his orders to cast nightmare on Yu Yuan, he also made a copy of this complete list of soul beast species. After Lin Rong got it, he flipped through it roughly and found that this soul beast species encyclopedia was indeed much more detailed and richer than the soul beast atlas passed down in his family. It can only be said that the spirit hall is worthy of being the #1 force on the continent. The knowledge and accumulation of soul beast species alone far exceeds that of other forces by several times. No way, it's so thick and so big. Oscar stared at the book in front of him, which was thicker than his waist and bigger than his chest. He widened his eyes and smiled bitterly. "How long will it take to find the soul beast of your choice here?" Ning Rongrong sat aside, and seeing Oscar's frustrated look, She couldn't help but chuckle and said, Xiao, I can actually give you some reference. Tell me what kind of life-saving ability you want from your third soul skill. Her tone was full of confidence. After all, thanks to someone, her hard work over the past 5 years from the age of 6 had allowed her to achieve balanced development in all aspects. Knowledge about the types of soul beasts suitable for auxiliary soul masters is just basic skills for Ning Rongrong now. The problems that gave Oscar a headache are just a piece of cake for her, really. Oscar's eyes lit up after hearing this. He put the obtrusive heavy book into his soul guide and looked at Ning Rongrong, who was sitting next to him. He said excitedly, My wife is really amazing. She is worthy of being the woman that I fell in love with at first sight. You're so talkative. Ning Rongrong blushed when she heard the first half of the sentence, but when she heard the second half, she rolled her eyes at Oscar's narcissism. Oscar said cheekily, I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just telling the truth. You are the inheritor of the 9-colored goddess, and I am the inheritor of the god of food. We are a natural match. After hearing this, the blush on Ning Rongrong's cheeks became more noticeable. The shame in her heart made her lower her head to avoid Oscar's gaze. Seeing that the joke was almost over, Oscar brought the topic back on track and said, Rongrong, the requirements for my third soul skill are not high. As long as it can significantly improve my ability to survive, it will be fine. At this time, the blush on Ning Rongrong's face had not yet faded, so she still lowered her head and whispered, You're still too general, be more specific, isn't this specific enough? Oscar touched his hair, racked his brains and thought about it, and said, Then let's talk about speed. As the saying goes, as long as I run fast enough, danger will never catch up with me. Speed. Ning Rongrong put her hand on her face, and after feeling that the temperature of her cheek was not as hot as before, she raised her head and looked at Oscar, saying, There are many types of soul beasts that are good at speed, and most of them are flying soul beasts. Xiao. With your talent, if you absorb the spirit rings produced by spirit beasts with the ability to fly, you may be able to gain a spirit skill that allows you to fly for a short period of time. Most soul masters don't have the ability to fly, so this can be considered a good way to save their lives. Flight. Oscar nodded thoughtfully. Although many soul beasts with wings have the ability to fly, when these soul beasts are used as martial spirits, their effects cannot be compared with those of soul beasts. Even if it is a flying spirit, if the spirit quality is below high level, it still needs a flying spirit skill to be able to fly. Only winged martial souls of advanced or higher quality can directly grant the soul master the ability to fly without the need for soul rings. The reason why he knew this so well was because when Shrek Academy was still in a village near Soto City, he accidentally learned about it when he was taken by his teacher Xiaotian to watch a battle at the Soto City Soul Fighting Arena. At that time, they were watching a 7-person team soul fighting match hosted by a woman named Dao Dao. Her martial soul is a white dove, and she is a soul master with 3 yellow soul rings. Although her third soul ring was not of the best millennium level, the soul skill that soul ring gave her was flying. Dao Dao is quite famous in the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena, and information related to this aspect is no secret, so when Oscar asked, Xiaotian told him directly about it. Of course, the reason why Oscar asked these questions was simply because the female host named Dao Dao was a beauty. It was the first time he had seen a beauty of this level, so it was normal for him to feel excited. Oscar kept reminding himself in his heart that he must never let Ning Rongrong know that he had fallen in love with another woman on the other side. Ning Rongrong didn't know what Oscar was thinking, and continued to explain. Our auxiliary spirit master's physical fitness is relatively weak among spirit masters of the same level, so we are not suitable for absorbing the spirit rings of those domineering and ferocious spirit beasts. For example, the human-faced demon spider, which is called the evil killer, is not suitable for our physical fitness to absorb. Therefore, those ferocious raptor soul beasts are directly excluded, but in this case, there are not many soul beasts to choose from. Among the few soul beasts to choose from, the spine-tailed swift and the phoenix-tailed cockatiel are the best. These 2 soul beasts have their own advantages and disadvantages. Although the spine-tailed swift has reached the pinnacle in terms of speed, the spirit skills granted by the spirit rings it produces are mostly pure speed enhancements. I have never heard of an auxiliary spirit master obtaining flying spirit skills from this kind of spirit beast. Although the flying speed of the phoenix-tailed cockatiel is not as fast as that of the spine-tailed swift, it is not slow among all the flying soul beasts. Most importantly, there is a precedent of auxiliary soul masters obtaining flying soul skills from this kind of soul beast. Zio. Ao. If you want to obtain the flying spirit skill stably, the phoenix tail coxcomb snake has a higher chance of obtaining it, and its flying speed is not much worse, but if you choose the spine-tailed swift, you're taking a gamble. If you win the bet, you will gain a flying spirit skill with extremely high flying speed, but if you lose the bet, you can only gain an ordinary spirit skill that purely increases speed. Ning Rongrong spoke slowly so that Oscar could think while listening. Ning Rongrong analyzed the pros and cons of the two soul beasts, the spine-tailed swift and the phoenix-tailed cockapoo, very well, and it is easy to understand. Oscar now has two choices. Choose one. To be safe, he chose the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake as his third soul ring. With his talent, there is a high probability that he will be able to obtain a flying soul skill with a good flying speed. Choice 2. Taking a gamble and choosing the spine-tailed swift as his third spirit ring, he would either gain a flying spirit skill with extremely high flying speed, or a normal spirit skill that purely increased speed. For a moment, Oscar was in a dilemma and didn't know how to choose. Ning Rongrong may have seen Oscar's hesitation at the moment, so she opened her mouth and offered her suggestion. Zio, if you are not particularly eager to be able to fly, the spine-tailed swift would be more suitable for you than the phoenix-tailed cockapoo. Even if you lose the bet, with your talent and the speed attribute of the spine-tailed swift, the speed increase provided by the third soul skill will reach an extremely exaggerated level. Although pure speed increase cannot ignore terrain like flying spirit skills, as long as the speed is fast enough, it can also avoid many dangers. Of course, if you really want the flying spirit skill, then choose the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake as your third spirit ring. The probability of obtaining the flying spirit skill is much greater than that of the spine-tailed swift. Oscar just listened silently, looking around the dining table among the 6 people present, except for old Yu. The other 5, including him, are all inheritors of gods. His innate talent of full soul power, which he was proud of, was nothing compared to the inheritance of the gods, especially his fiancée Ning Rongrong, who is 2 years younger than him, but her soul power is 20 levels higher than his. Although the reasons for this huge gap are mostly related to resources, a small part of it is also related to his own laziness in cultivation and Ning Rongrong's diligence in cultivation. He has fallen so far behind, so what right does he have to play it safe? No, he had to take a gamble at this moment. Oscar's heart was filled with a competitive fire, and his eyes gradually became firm. After Ning Rongrong finished speaking, he made a choice without hesitation. I choose the spine-tailed swift as my third soul ring. When Oscar finished speaking, Lin Rong had just finished drinking the mutton soup, so he put down his bowl and chopsticks, stretched out his hand, and said casually, "Give me back my book." Book? Which book? What book? Oscar was a little confused when he heard it afterwards. Seeing that Lin Rong's gaze towards him gradually became somewhat dangerous, he quickly realized that the book referred to the complete list of soul beast species that he had just casually put into the soul guide. After realizing what was happening, Oscar immediately took out the thick encyclopedia of soul beast species from his soul guide and said sincerely, Sir, I'm sorry, I didn't react quickly just now." Lin Rong was unable to comment on Oscar's explanation. In the land of love, once you fall in love, your IQ goes negative and your brain starts to cramp and short-circuit. A complete list of soul beast species, such a thick and large book, was lent to Oscar for no more than 2 or 3 minutes. It is really speechless that he even forgot about it. Lin Rong put away the books, took out a map of the star forest and spread it out on the dining table. Spine-tailed swifts like to live in an environment with a wide view. The wide field of vision means that once danger approaches, the spine-tailed swifts will have enough time to react and use the speed that they are proud of to avoid the danger. Because the Star Dou Great Forest is so huge, this map only roughly depicts the general terrain distribution of the Star Dou Great Forest by calculating from the direction they entered the Star Dou Great Forest and combining it with a map in their hands. They can effectively find the nearest terrain location with a wide view. Lin Rong looked at the map carefully, and after determining the location, he quickly knew which direction they should go. End of this chapter. Chapter 191. The Tree of Life and the Scepter of Destruction. The center of the Star Forest. It is not only the center of the Star Dou Great Forest, but also a life forbidden zone recognized by soul masters. It is mysterious and dangerous. Even the descriptions of this place in ancient books only give a brief summary. It's like Yu Zaigang looked through all the ancient books in the Spirit Hall, but he only found the legend that there was a titled Douluo who came to the center of the Star Dou Great Forest with his own strength and saw the sky blue bull python. The center of the forest is no longer a forest, but a small lake. The lake is crystal clear and surrounded by forests, making it a paradise on earth. However, Extreme danger lurks in the ultimate beauty. Brother, the aura fluctuations of these two things have become stronger. A heavy and powerful voice sounded, which seemed very abrupt in the silent environment because looking around, there was no human figure here, only a black giant ape as big as a mountain. The black giant ape slowly walked to the edge of the lake, and the ground trembled slightly because of its movement after reaching the shore of the lake. Its lantern-sized yellow eyes stared directly at the lake, as if waiting for something soon. Ripples appeared on the mirror-like surface of the lake, and a dark shadow seemed to emerge from under the surface. The next moment, a dark shadow rose from under the lake, rolling up a huge column of water that scattered in all directions under the sunshine. The mysterious black shadow revealed its true appearance. It was a giant green python that was 100 meters long, but it had a huge bull head on top of its body, which looked very strange, divine. Creatures have spirits and will choose their masters to serve. The ox-headed creature spoke in human language, and its majestic voice echoed over the silent lake. These two divine objects have such a reaction. I am afraid that a human spirit master whose martial spirit is compatible with these two divine objects has entered the territory of the starred-out Great Forest. The closer the human soul master is to the two divine objects, the more intense the reaction of the divine objects will naturally become. It has a cow's head and a python's body, and speaks human language. It is the emperor of the starred-out Great Forest. The azure bull python and that black giant ape that is as big as a mountain is the famous forest king in the soul master world. The titan giant ape. The azure bull python controlled its 100-meter-long body and came to the side of the titan giant ape, and then they looked towards the center of the lake together, where there was a strange ancient tree rooted at the bottom of the lake, and on the crown of the ancient tree stood a purple gold scepter. A few months ago, a meteor shower descended on Douluo continent. Among the 26 meteors, 2 fell together into the lake in the center of the star forest after the light faded. A seed-emitting emerald green light took root in the center of the lake bottom. In an instant, it grew into an ancient tree with a crystal-clear emerald green body. Endless breath of life filled the area around the ancient tree. Afterwards, a stream of purple air emerged and condensed into a luxurious purple gold scepter on the crown of the ancient tree. A deep purple diamond crystal was inlaid on the top of the scepter, and it was filled with an endless aura of destruction. The divine object fell from the sky, which made the azure bull python and the titan giant ape feel the long-lost excitement. The last time they experienced this feeling was when their cultivation broke through the bottleneck of 100,000 years. The azure bull python is a wood-attributed dragon soul beast, which is consistent with the life attribute, although the titan giant ape is a soul beast with pure strength attribute. Its ultimate power also includes destruction, which is consistent with the destruction attribute. Therefore, in their view, these two sacred objects are supreme opportunities bestowed upon them by God. But soon, the cruel reality taught them a hard lesson. No matter what method they used, they could not get the recognition of the tree of life and the scepter of destruction, which hit them hard and made them depressed for a long time. There has always been a legend among soul beasts about the possibility of becoming a god after millions of years of overcoming tribulations, but no soul beast has ever truly reached this level. On the contrary, it is true that human soul masters can become gods at level 100, that was when they were very young, and they had felt 2 different auras of gods one after another. One is as bright and holy, and the other is as deep as the sea. From the human soul masters who entered the starred-out Great Forest during that time, we learned that one was the angel god who unified the continent, and the other was the sea god who unified the ocean. This also made the azure bull python and the titan giant ape attribute the reason for not being recognized by the divine objects to the fact that those gods were cultivated from human bodies, and the divine objects bestowed by these gods would naturally not be of any race other than humans. Brother, the titan ape felt very aggrieved. He pounded the ground with his strong arms to vent his emotions. If that human spirit master finds this place, do we have to give up these 2 sacred objects? This lake in the center of the star forest and the surrounding forests have always been territories that only the king of the forest is qualified to occupy. It has been a long time since the 4 soul beasts, the azure bull python, the titan giant ape, Xiao Wu who has not yet transformed, and Xiao Wu's mother, joined forces to expel the previous king of the forest and occupied this place. It has been so long that they have come to regard this place as their natural territory, rather than a territory they have seized, and they do not allow any soul beast to invade. Their domineering and self-centered personalities made the azure bull python and the titan giant ape regard the 2 divine objects, the tree of life and the scepter of destruction, as their own. When the 2 meteors fell to the bottom of the lake, even though they failed to gain the recognition of the divine objects, after a moment of silence, the voice of the azure bull python was heard again over the lake. Hand it over. What a joke. Anything, whether it belongs to us or not, as long as it enters this territory that belongs to us, it becomes ours, even if that human spirit master can find this place. So what? If he wants to take away these two sacred objects, he must have the ability to do so. However, when talking about human soul masters, the two beasts simultaneously thought of the rabbit they had secretly loved for a long time, the 100,000-year-old soft-bone rabbit Xiao Wu, who transformed into a human before a soul beast that has transformed into a human grows to maturity. Its cultivation can only progress normally if it comes into contact with a breath of humans. Otherwise, it will stagnate. Because of this reason, Xiao Wu left the Xingdao Great Forest 5 years ago and went to live in human society. Until now, she has never returned to the Xingdao Great Forest. I wonder how Sister Xiao Wu is doing in human society. Will she be bullied? Will her identity as a soul beast be discovered? Will she? Because he missed Xiao Wu. The Titan ape looks silly and a little cute at this moment. Don't worry, second brother. The azure bull python seemed to be comforting the Titan ape, and also seemed to be comforting itself, saying, Sister Xiao Wu is so smart and powerful, and the human cubs are so weak. How can they be a match for Sister Xiao Wu? Besides, soul Douluo are very rare among human soul masters. It is impossible for anyone in such a remote town to see through Sister Xiao Wu's identity. At this time, in a storage soul guide that looked like a coral stone pendant, the little dancing sister that the azure bull python and the Titan giant ape were thinking about was lying in the storage space with a dull look in her eyes, muttering intermittently, Duming, Erming, where are you? Come and save me. End of this chapter. Chapter 192, Magical Uses of Artifacts. On a cliff somewhere on the outskirts of the Star Forest, after Oscar absorbed the soul ring, he stood up from the ground. 3 yellow and purple soul rings appeared on his body, symbolizing his identity as a 3-ring soul master. The lavender 1,000-year soul ring was taken from a spine-tailed swift that was more than 2,400 years old. Among the spine-tailed swifts living on this cliff, the one that was closest to Oscar's endurance limit, everyone present was very curious about the result of Oscar's absorption of the soul ring. However, Oscar's face at this moment was unusually calm, with no joy or sadness, and no trace of happiness, anger, sorrow or joy could be seen, which made it difficult for everyone to determine from his facial expression whether he had won the bet or not. Seeing that Oscar was still silent, Ning Rongrong was the first to break the silence and asked the question everyone wanted to ask. Xiao, how was it? Did you win the bet? Is the effect of your third soul skill flying or speed enhancement? Rongrong. Oscar showed a deep affection, holding Ning Rongrong's hands, and said, if as soon as he uttered 2 words, he caught a glimpse of Lin Rong's warning look at him. He shuddered and his temperament returned to his previous mean look. He quickly uttered 3 words, the bet won. Then, Oscar let go of Ning Rongrong's hands and shouted the soul spell of the third soul skill, I have a mushroom sausage. As soon as the obscene soul spell was finished, light and shadow emerged in Oscar's right hand, and soon a small and exquisite mushroom sausage appeared in the palm of his right hand. Seeing that no one present laughed at him because of the new soul spell, Oscar's tense mood suddenly relaxed a lot, and he introduced to everyone, my third soul skill, flying mushroom sausage, soul skill effect, flying. After eating the mushroom sausage, the flying effect only lasts for 3 minutes, but the flying speed during these 3 minutes is equivalent to the flying speed of my third soul ring, which is the speed of the spine-tailed swift that has cultivated for more than 2,000 years. How about it? It's awesome. At the end, Oscar raised the mushroom sausage in his hand in a childish way, with a very smug expression on his face. There was a moment of silence, and everyone's expressions were unusually calm, and no one showed the slightest surprise. Why are you reacting like this? Seeing that no one agreed with him, Oscar awkwardly withdrew his right hand that was holding up the mushroom sausage and asked weakly, isn't my soul skill strong? Among the crowd, the most innocent Yun Wei was the first to respond, no, brother Ao, your soul skill is very strong, it's just that your soul skill originally came from the soul ring produced by the spine-tailed swift. Your flying speed is the same as that of the spine-tailed swift. Isn't this normal? After saying this, Yun Wei added silently, besides, I think the flying time of your mushroom sausage is only 3 minutes, which is a little short. Mushroom sausage time is short. Oscar felt as if 2 sharp blades had pierced deeply into his fragile heart, and he almost vomited blood, although he knew that Yun Wei was too simple-minded to know the hidden meaning behind her words. He and the others present knew it, but soon, Oscar discovered that he seemed to be the only one who knew the hidden meaning of Yun Hu's words, because everyone's expressions did not change at all after hearing these words. Am I evil? That's impossible. Are they also innocent? Oscar was unwilling to believe the result of his guess, as if seeing Oscar's thoughts. Lin Rong looked at him and said lightly, "What the mind thinks, it sees in others. Don't assume that everyone is like you." Oscar was relieved when he heard this. Lin Rong's words showed that he also knew the hidden meaning of Yun Wei's words, so he smiled and replied, "That's what the adults taught you." At this time, Ning Rongrong also stood up to defend her fiancée, Sister Yun Wei. Xiao's flying mushroom sausage is a millennial level 3rd soul skill, and the 3-minute flight time is not short. You have to know that for ordinary auxiliary spirit masters to obtain the flying spirit skill, they need at least the 6th spirit skill to obtain it. Therefore, the flying soul skills of those auxiliary soul masters that you read about in the books are all 10,000-year soul skills produced by 10,000-year soul rings. Naturally, their flying time will be much longer than Xiao's soul skills that have been around for more than 2,000 years. As she spoke, Ning Rongrong looked at Oscar and asked a key question. "Xiao, how much does your 3rd soul skill cost? How long is the shelf life of the flying mushroom sausage after it is made?" "Consumption is not bad." Oscar immediately answered his wife's question. "After I absorbed this spirit ring, my spirit power increased to level 32. Based on my current total spirit power, I can produce a maximum of 11 flying mushroom sausages at a time. After the mushroom sausage is made, its effect will not diminish within 7 days. After 7 days, the effect of the flying mushroom sausage will quickly fade within an hour until it completely loses its effect. However, this is the flying mushroom sausage made under normal circumstances. If it is made by using the God of Cookery's rice spoon to increase its power, the effect will be different. Use the God of Cookery's rice spoon to reduce the consumption of soul skills by 30%, increase the effect of soul skills by 30%, and increase the release speed of soul skills by 30%. Also, the God of Cookery's rice spoon has another feature, which is that the sausages made with it have an unlimited shelf life. That is to say, any kind of sausage I make with the God of Cookery's large rice spoon will not show any signs of the soul skills effects fading or even becoming ineffective, no matter how long it is stored. The enhancement of Oscar's soul skills by the God of Cookery's big rice spoon was within everyone's expectations. As for the magical weapon, everyone present has used it. All divine weapons have the ability to increase the power and effect of soul skills by 30%, increase the speed of soul skill release by 30%, and reduce the consumption of soul skills by 30%. The only thing that surprised everyone a little bit was the unique amplification effect of the God of Cookery's big rice spoon on food-type soul masters. It could actually make the food soul skills created by food-type soul masters no longer be restricted by the shelf life. The soul skills of food-type soul masters are varied, but the more advanced the soul skill effect, the more restrictions it has. The usual manifestation is that the shelf life of food is extremely short, even only a few minutes. The ability of the God of Cookery's rice spoon perfectly solves the most troublesome problem for all food-related soul masters in the world. The existence of this ability directly eliminates the biggest drawback of the food-type soul master's soul skills. At the same time, this ability of the God of Cookery's big rice spoon instantly raised Oscar's already high strategic value to several levels. End of this chapter. Chapter 193. Martial Soul and Talent Field. After Oscar obtained the 3rd soul ring, it was Yun Wei's turn to get the 2nd soul ring according to the order of the years it took to obtain the soul rings. After Yun Wei absorbed the 1st soul ring, the maximum age that he could withstand the soul ring reached about 3,000 years. 3,000 years. I remember there was a sea of flowers in the jungle nearby. There lived a group of yellow-ringed bees there. The leading yellow-ringed queen bee seemed to have cultivated for about 3,000 years. Lin Rong unfolded the map in his hand and quickly found the approximate location of the jungle flower sea on the map. A bit far on the map, the cliff where they were was only a little bit away from the jungle and sea of flowers, but in terms of the entire star forest, the distance was thousands of kilometers. A distance of thousands of kilometers was not too far for him and the old butler, but there were 4 auxiliary soul masters in the team, which lowered the average speed of the journey. Although Lin Rong has special soul skills, there are no green leaf marks left by him in the jungle flower sea, so he cannot use space replacement to teleport them there. In this case, The best solution is to let the 9-curved vine dragon grow bigger and carry them over. However, Lin Rong had never considered this method at all. Although the 9-curved vine dragon is his martial soul, it also has its own independent consciousness. The dragon is born noble, superior to all beasts, and standing at the top of the world. The 9-bend vine dragon's innate pride makes it unwilling to be stepped on by anyone other than its master. Even the old butler, Duke Lin Rong himself, was unwilling, but he had to submit under the authority of his master. The last time he fought against the dark demon evil god Tiger, he had to let Yun step on the back of the 9-bend vine dragon and descend from a high altitude to the ground. Due to the situation, others are not the old butler, so they naturally have to take care of their own martial soul's emotions. However, in addition to letting the 9-curved vine dragon carry them over, there is another way to quickly reach the jungle flower sea, which is, Oscar, your chance to show off your skills has come. Lin Rong put the map away, looked at Oscar, smiled slightly, and said, the target soul beast of Yunwei's second soul ring is 1,000 kilometers away. Your flying mushroom sausage will come in handy. There are 6 of us. Xiaoqing will carry me and Grandpa Yu in front to lead the way. The 4 of you will take Oscar's flying mushroom sausage and follow behind. In front of everyone, Lin Rong changed the way he addressed the old butler from Uncle Yu to Grandpa Yu. This is because as his own strength increases, he no longer needs to use this method to maintain his status. 1,000 kilometers. Oscar was sweating profusely when he heard this. My lord, this is too far. With my current soul power, even with a god of cookery's rice spoon in my hand, I can only make 16 flying mushroom sausages at a time. If we divide it equally among 4 people, each person will only have 4 sticks, and each person's flying time is only 15 minutes and 36 seconds, even if it's a spine-tailed swift. To fly thousands of kilometers in 15 minutes, it would take at least 10,000 years of cultivation to do it. And my third soul ring is only more than 2,400 years old, which is still a long way from 10,000 years. Lin Rong certainly knew what Oscar was talking about, but he had his own plans. He said, it's okay. 4 flying mushroom sausages are not enough for 1 person. Then we can have 10 or 20. You don't have to worry about the consumption of soul power. I will be your power bank. Just focus on making flying mushroom sausages. Power bank? This unheard of word confused everyone, and Oscar couldn't help but ask, Sir, what does power bank mean? Oh, it's nothing. I just said it casually. You don't have to take it seriously. Lin Rong secretly glanced at the old housekeeper, and seeing that his face was normal, he felt much more at ease and said, Oscar, I'm here to provide you with soul power. You can start making flying mushroom sausages now. As soon as the words fell, a sky blue halo emanated from Lin Rong, instantly covering the forest around the cliff. An endless supply of life energy was drawn from the inside of each large tree, and under the influence of the innate field, it was transformed into pure soul power and gathered in Lin Rong's hands. Oh my god. Can we play like this? Oscar was a little stunned by this, and for a moment he forgot that he still had to make flying mushroom sausages. No wonder you used your ultimate move as if you didn't need any soul power when you competed with Jian Douluo. It turns out that the forest is the source of your power. I'm so envious. Don't be envious. This is the power that belongs to my unique field of talent. Lin Rong looked at Oscar and said some encouraging words. As the heir of the gods, you will also be able to obtain the God of Food Realm or a low-end version of the God of Food Realm in the future. His words were not empty talk, but were based on the living example of the god Shiro. And the City of Slaughter Soul Masters can obtain the Killing God Realm by passing the trials in the City of Slaughter, and the Killing God Realm can be upgraded to the Killing Realm in the Shura 9 trials. These 2 areas are both low-end versions of the Shura area. As the inheritor of a god, it is not difficult to obtain a talent field related to the godhood. In the process of accepting the inheritance of the godhood, looking at the 3 great inheritors of the gods in the original work, Jin Ringsu has the Angel Realm, and Tang San has the Killing God Realm. These 2 realms are related to the Angel God and the Asura God respectively. Only Bibi Dong did not obtain a talent field related to the Rakshasa God, but combining the situations of Bibi Dong and Tang San, we can draw the conclusion that a martial soul can only be attached to 1 talent field. Bibi Dong's 2 martial souls, the Death Spider Emperor comes with a death domain, and the Soul Devouring Spider Emperor has the Killing God domain attached. Tang San's 2 martial spirits, the Blue Silver Emperor comes with a Blue Silver domain, and the Clear Sky Hammer has the Killing God domain attached regardless of whether it was Bibi Dong or Tang San. Each of their martial souls already had a talent field before they obtained the divine inheritance if the inference that each martial soul can only be attached to one innate domain is correct. It can explain why Bibi Dong and Tang Sam failed to obtain the Rakshasa domain and the Poseidon domain, although Oscar is extremely talented and is a once-in-a-millennium genius soul master with innate full soul power in the food system. His sausage martial soul does not have its own talent field. Similarly, Cigar 10,000 years later, and Baozi 20,000 years later, these two food-type soul masters with innate full soul power did not awaken their innate domains. A talent that only appears once in a million years is not worthy of possessing a talent domain, which is enough to show how rare the talent domain is. However, although innate domains are rare, a martial spirit with an innate domain is not necessarily a powerful martial spirit. For example, Tang Yuhua, her martial soul is a mutated ring of the clear sky hammer. Her soul power is only half level and cannot be improved throughout her life. But such a useless martial soul has its own noble ring of talent. End of this chapter. Chapter 194, The Holy Power of Death. Period. Chapter 195, Demiplane of the Undead. Looking at the thousands of soul rings scattered across the field, Lin Rong's eyes flickered, and he thought to himself, after a spirit ring appears, it can only exist for 1 hour. If no spirit master absorbs it within 1 hour, it will dissipate on its own. Although the spirit ring here is on the verge of dissipating, it still exists. The soul ring has not dissipated, which means that Alex and the lucky person he chose will not be away from here for more than an hour. Similarly, if Alex takes action, it also means that the lucky person who is chosen is not strong enough to deal with the spirit rings here. They are weak. It is impossible for them to escape from my life perception range in less than an hour, but I didn't sense their presence, so Lin Rong stood up from the ground and looked around the field thoughtfully. Seeing that the only missing body among the thousands of yellow-ringed bees was the yellow-ringed queen bee, a mysterious smile appeared on his face, and he turned around and said, "Let's go. Now that the yellow-ringed queen bee is gone, let's look for other soul beasts." He took out the map and looked for his next destination, Nine-Hearted Begonia. No matter how many soul skills it has, or what kind of soul beast soul ring it absorbs, it will only have one soul skill, area group healing, and the healing intensity can be controlled at will. Although the type and quality of the soul ring will not affect the effect of the Nine-Hearted Begonia's soul skills, the more suitable the soul ring type and the higher the quality, the less the soul skills will consume. Therefore, it would be best for Yu Lingling to obtain her fourth soul ring from a plant-type soul beast, especially a flower-type soul beast with strong vitality. The yellow ring queen bee's soul ring is gone, so Yun Wei's choice of second soul ring will be to look for it among flower-type soul beasts, just in time to be with Yu Lingling. There is a place where plant-type soul beasts are abundant. It's here. After finding the place, Lin Rong put away the map and led them out of this death desert. Half an hour later, in the center of the desert, light gray air currents appeared out of nowhere and gathered together to form a space door. Behind the space gate is a gray-black world, desolate and without a trace of life. A young man with a pure and extraordinary temperament walked out of the gray-black world. Behind him, an illusory old man in a black robe floated. "Teacher, that man looks only a year or two older than me. Did he really realize that we were hiding in your undead demi-plane?" Jixiang stepped on the withered flowers, turned around to look at the old man in black robe, and asked doubtfully, "I'm just over 9 years old, and that person is at most 11 or 12 years old. How could he have the ability to detect a plane hidden in the void?" "My disciple, don't look down on the people in the world." Alex stroked his beard and taught earnestly, "You were able to meet my master and obtain the inheritance of the God of Light. Who can guarantee that others won't get a greater and stronger opportunity? My teacher has lived a long life and has a wealth of experience. His vision has also been tempered by the vicissitudes of life and has become accurate and sharp." The look and expression that young man just showed definitely showed that he had noticed something. If that person has inherited the legacy of the God of Space in your world, it is not surprising that he can detect the undead demiplane that I have hidden in the void, the inheritance of the God of Space. Jixiang was a little surprised. He learned a piece of information from the inheritance of the God of Light, that the 7 gods, the God of Earth, the God of Water, the God of Fire, the God of Wind, the God of Light, the God of Darkness, and the God of Space, were collectively known as the 7 elemental gods in the God realm. For this reason, the 7 gods had a very good relationship with each other. "Teacher, if that person is really the inheritor of the God of Space, then wouldn't he be my partner in the future?" Jixiang asked. "Because the God of Light and the God of Space are in the same camp, The simple-minded Jixiang also feels that as inheritors, they should be companions. Looking at his disciple's innocent look, Alex shook his head, sighed, and said in a somewhat sad tone, "My disciple, you must remember that there are no eternal friends in this world, only eternal interests. Even relatives can turn against each other, let alone partners in the same camp. Besides, it is still unknown whether that person is really the inheritor of the god of space." Alex himself didn't know the reason for the sadness in his tone, because his consciousness was so badly damaged that he had lost a lot of memories, but he just couldn't control his emotions, as if he had experienced a deeply tragic event in the past. Jixiang wanted to refute the teacher's statement, "There are no eternal friends, only eternal interests." But when he heard the genuine sorrow in the teacher's tone, he couldn't say the words he wanted to refute. "Teacher." Jixiang was about to say something comforting when Alex turned into a stream of gray air and poured into a sea of consciousness. "Someone is coming. The aura he emits is not strong, but it is still stronger than yours. Be careful. If the situation is not right, hide in the undead demiplane at any time." The old voice of Alex sounded in Jixiang's sea of consciousness. After a while, a tall, thin young man in black clothes and with a paralyzed face walked out of the forest. The young man was incredibly thin, and it seemed as if a gust of wind could blow him down. However, Jixiang looked at the young man without any contempt, but instead with a cautious look. This is not to say that Jixiang is well aware of the truth that one should not judge a person by his appearance, but that the young man is holding a huge black sickle in his hand. At the same time, 3 soul rings appeared on the young man. Yellow, 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 300-year spirit rings. Such a weird combination of spirit rings, coupled with a huge black sickle in the young man's hand and his expressionless and indifferent face, is terrifying no matter how you look at it. "I smell the holy breath of light from you. It seems that you are the successor to the throne of the god of light." The young man walked to a place 5 meters away from Jixiang and stopped. After taking a closer look, he said without any emotion, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Su Keming. My martial soul is Dark Demon Side. I'm 13 years old, a level 40 strong attack system quasi-combat soul master, and I'm also the inheritor of the Dark God's throne." The inheritor of the god of darkness. Jixiang was somewhat surprised. In his body, the pure white holy crown of the god of light was emitting brilliance, as if it was resonating with something, and the source of the resonance, following his perception, Jixiang's gaze fell on the young man in front of him. "Why, you don't believe it?" Su Keming saw that Jixiang didn't reply, but he didn't get angry. He said, "Strong people all have their own personalities. You were able to turn this jungle and sea of flowers into this. No matter what means you used, that is your strength. In that case, in order to prove my identity as the successor of the Dark God, I will show you the Dark God's artifact in my hand." End of this chapter. Chapter 196, Twins of Light and Darkness. After saying that, Su Keming tore off his shirt, revealing his lean figure. Then, 6 pairs of jet black wings grew out between the 2 ribs on his back. 6 pairs of wings flapped behind him, and Su Keming left the ground and flew in midair. A large number of black feathers fell from his wings and wrapped around his body, quickly weaving into a black feather battlesuit in the air. Su Keming's long black hair fluttered in the wind, with 6 pairs of 12-winged black wings behind him and a black feather battlesuit, making him look like an angel of hell who had fallen into the dark abyss. "Wow! So handsome." Jixiang looked at Su Keming flying in the air with shining eyes. The cool 12-winged black wings, the stylish black feather battlesuit, the flowing black long hair, and the cold expressionless face, all these combined together directly captured Jixiang's pure boyish heart. Facing Jixiang's praise, Su Keming remained unmoved and introduced in a cold tone, "The 6 pairs of black wings behind me are the Dark God's artifact, the fallen demon feathers. So, are you sincere? Let me see your artifact of the god of light, the pure white holy crown." Light and darkness are both opposed to and symbiotic with each other, and the bond between the god of light and the god of darkness is the deepest among the 7 elemental gods. Therefore, Su Keming learned the information about the artifact of the god of light from the inheritance of the god of darkness, and Jixiang also learned the information about the artifact of the god of darkness from the inheritance of the god of light, pure white holy crown. Upon hearing that, Jixiang retracted his infatuated gaze and couldn't help but hesitate whether or not to take out the artifact of the god of light to show the young man in front of him. "It's okay, this person has no ill intentions, let him watch." Alex's voice rang out in his sea of consciousness, and Jixiang no longer hesitated. Suddenly, a holy, Pure white light appeared above his head, and then condensed into a pure white crown of thorns. The crown of thorns slowly fell down and was finally placed steadily on Jixiang's head. Jixiang was originally dressed in white, and with a crown on his head, his otherworldly temperament became even more extraordinary. His otherworldly appearance and expression, without any joy or sadness, made him look like a true god who had descended to the world, high above everyone else and indifferent to all living beings. Very good, Su Keming's expressionless face revealed a stiff smile, and he controlled the fallen demon feather to slowly land in front of Jixiang. His cold tone was mixed with a hint of excitement that was barely noticeable. I didn't expect that I would be so lucky to meet the inheritor of the God of Light just by coming to the Sky Dou Great Forest to obtain the 4th spirit ring. Join us, and our team will have 3 inheritors of the 7 elemental gods. 3? Jixiang noticed these 2 words keenly and asked, may I ask who that person is? And which of the 7 elemental gods did he inherit? After saying this, he suddenly remembered that he hadn't introduced himself yet, so he quickly added, oh, right, my name is Jixiang. My martial soul is Silver Needle. I am 9 years old this year, and I am a level 33 strong attack system battle soul master. Wuhan. Silver Needle. Su Keming frowned. He was not surprised at Jixiang's age. After all, his appearance was theirs for the level of soul power. Because of the death desert beneath their feet, he felt that level 33 was a bit low. Only the Silver Needle martial spirit made him feel unbelievable. How could such an ordinary martial spirit, whose attributes had nothing to do with light, be recognized by the inheritance of the God of Light? Is it simply because of his high talent that he directly ignores the incompatibility between the quality and attributes of his martial soul? Su Keming gave himself a reason to convince himself, and then put the matter behind him and answered the question that Jixiang had just asked. Our companion is named Luo Minghe. His martial soul controls the element of space, and he is the inheritor of the God of Space. Luo Minghe? The inheritor of the God of Space? Jixiang suddenly remembered the person who noticed that he and his teacher were hiding in the undead demi-plane. Just as he was about to ask, the voice of his teacher Alex sounded in his sea of consciousness again. After listening carefully, he swallowed the words he wanted to ask just now, and asked tentatively according to the way his teacher taught him, so he is the inheritor of the God of Space, then did he accompany you to the Sky Dou Great Forest? No. When Su Keming mentioned this, his cold tone was mixed with a bit of pride. I came to the Sky Dou Great Forest to obtain the 4th spirit ring. He hasn't cultivated to level 40 yet, so what is he doing here? After saying this, Su Keming paused and then added, in terms of age, he is the same as me. Both are 13 years old, but in terms of soul power, he is only level 37 now, and it is still a long way to go before he can break through to level 40. 13 years old? In Jixiang's sea of consciousness, Alex looked thoughtful, and an old voice rang out, the boy who noticed us couldn't be more than 12 years old. If this is true, even if the inheritor of the God of Space secretly came to the Sky Dou Great Forest, his age would not match. But if that person is not the inheritor of the God of Space, and does not have the blessing of the space artifact, how did he detect the undead demiplane hidden in the void? In fact, Lin Rong did not notice the undead demiplane hidden in the void, but he knew that Alex had such a thing, and the other party's strength could not be out of the range of his life perception in less than an hour. At the same time, the yellow-ringed queen bee could not be found in the corpse of the bee colony, so at this time it must have absorbed the soul ring in a safe place for Alex. Where else could be safer than the plane he controls? In this way, through the process of elimination, we can know that the other party must have hidden in the undead demiplane. Although Alex is a visitor from another world, he still cannot escape his identity as a native. He had no concept of being a time traveler, so he would never have imagined that the other party was able to detect that they were hiding in the undead demiplane, and actually calculated it with the foresight of a time traveler. It consumes a lot of soul power to maintain the form blessed by the artifact. So Su Keming put away the fallen demon feather and took out a new shirt from the soul guide and put it on. Then he looked at Jixiang and said, your name is Jixiang, right? How about it? Have you thought about it? Do you want to join us? You and I are one light and one dark. The symbiotic inheritance of the two enables us to possess the super killer weapon of martial soul fusion. The power of the gods is enough to make the compatibility between our martial souls reach the legendary 100%, which is the so-called god-level fusion. As long as you and I join forces, even in this era when inheritors of gods emerge in large numbers, we can stand on the top of this continent and write our own legend, facing Su Keming's invitation, Jixiang lowered his head in thought, and asked Electrolux in his mind, "Teacher, should I agree? If it were before, Jixiang would have accepted Su Keming's invitation without hesitation, but now I hesitate obviously." What Electrolux said just now had a certain impact on Jixiang. "My disciple, although I am your teacher, I have no right to interfere with your choice." In the sea of consciousness, Alex floated on the sea surface and said in a calm tone, "You should live your own life. All a teacher can do is to provide you with some advice and help along the way. That's all, Master. Just said that this person has no ill intentions, so you should listen to your own heart when it comes to his invitation. Whatever choice you make, the teacher supports you." End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197, Prey and Hunter. Your inner voice? Jixiang understood. He raised his head, looked at Su Keming sincerely, stretched out his right hand and made a handshake gesture, saying, "I would like to join you. Welcome." Su Keming stretched out his left hand and held Jixiang's right hand, with a hint of sincere smile on his expressionless face, and said, "I still need to obtain the 4th spirit ring in the Star Dao Great Forest. After obtaining the spirit ring, I will take you to find our other partner." Hearing Su Keming mention this, Jixiang suddenly remembered the 3 yellow spirit rings on his body that represented 100 years, and asked in confusion, Isn't the best ratio for the 3rd spirit ring a 1,000-year spirit ring? Why is your 3rd spirit ring only a yellow 100-year spirit ring, perhaps?" This question was a bit presumptuous. Jixiang added, "If it involves your secrets, forget it." Su Keming shook his head and said, "Although not many people know about it, it's not a secret, so it's okay to tell you. The reason why my 3rd soul ring is a 100-year soul ring is because of my own martial soul, Wuhan." That pitch-black sickle. Jixiang was stunned for a moment, and listened to Su Keming continue speaking. "The martial soul I awakened is called Dark Demon Scythe, which is a top-level martial soul with dark attributes. However, the Dark Demon Scythe itself is too powerful, and it will backfire on the Soul Master himself. Because of the backlash of my martial spirit, my physical fitness is very weak, and I cannot withstand the power of the 1,000-year spirit ring. But that was before the power inherited from the Dark God perfectly solved the hidden danger of the Dark Devil Scythe martial spirit's backlash. Therefore, my 4th spirit ring can obtain a 1,000-year spirit ring like a normal 4-ring spirit master." "Oh, that's right." Su Keming said this, looked at Jixiang, and asked curiously, "You just said that your spirit power is level 33, but you came to the Star Dao Great Forest just to obtain spirit rings to advance. It seems that your 3rd spirit ring is quite old. Can you tell me how old your 3rd spirit ring is?" "Not high, only about 2,000, more than 4,000 years." Jixiang told the truth and revealed his 3 soul rings purple, purple, purple. 3 purple soul rings symbolizing 1,000 years were reflected in Su Keming's eyes, so dazzling. For the first time, Su Keming's expressionless face showed obvious movement. "A soul that only lasts for 1,000 years, what kind of monster is this?" The silent atmosphere made Jixiang not know how to respond. His 3 soul rings should have been a combination of yellow, and purple, but Alex used the ultimate move of his body to instantly kill an entire group of yellow-ringed bees and a whole jungle of flowers, and at the same time generated a huge force of death. Although most of this death force was absorbed by Alex to restore himself, the small part that remained also greatly increased the lifespan of his 3 spirit rings now. Each of his 3 spirit rings is over 4,000 years old, but because this matter involves his own secrets and is not convenient to tell, Jixiang can only scratch his head awkwardly and respond with a silly smile. A few days later, lakeshore next to a clump of green water hyacinths, Yu Lingling sat cross-legged on the grass with her hands clasped together. A 9-hearted begonia floating between her palms. Yellow, purple, 3 soul rings were rhythmically moving below the 9-hearted begonia. Above the 9-hearted begonia, a deep purple 1,000-year soul ring floated up and down, being pulled downwards little by little in the open space nearby. Lin Rong saw that Yu Lingling's process of absorbing the soul ring was almost over, so he walked over to Ning Rongrong and said softly, "After Yu Lingling absorbs the water hyacinth spirit ring, you will be the only one among the 4 who has not yet obtained the 5th spirit ring. Where is the target soul beast of your 5th soul ring, the 32,000-year-old green water clam. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong took out a piece of parchment, handed it to Lin Rong with both hands, and said in a low and respectful voice, "That green water clam lives in the depths of a lake where the outer and inner rims of the starred-out Great Forest meet. This is the marked map." Lin Rong unfolded the parchment and took out his own map for comparison. After comparing them, he quickly determined the approximate direction of the place marked on the parchment. The junction between the outer and inner perimeters is really a bit far now, somewhere in the Star Forest. "Brother, are you sure you remember the direction? We have been wandering around in the Star Forest for several days and haven't even seen the shadow of the three-eyed demon fox, because she couldn't find the soul beast of her choice with a 5th soul ring." Hulina's charming and delicate facial features were filled with complaints. Ziyu held his forehead with one hand, his handsome face full of helplessness, and said, "Nana, I didn't pay much attention to it at first. Besides, it happened 2 years ago. How could I remember it so clearly? And don't even mention you. Along the way, we haven't encountered any soul beasts suitable for Yan and me. Yan and I are not anxious, so you shouldn't be anxious either." Lina was very dissatisfied with her brother's answer and complained, "Of course I know that searching for spirit rings is a boring process, but you gave me so much hope, and I, as your sister, trust you so much, don't you know there's a saying that goes, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Who gave me such high hopes? Now I have to face this cruel reality and feel so lost." At this time, Yan wanted to show off himself, so he quickly interrupted, "Nana, don't worry. Before you get your 5th spirit ring, even if I meet a spirit beast that is suitable for my spirit, I will never absorb the spirit ring before you." "Oh." Hulina replied with one word indifferently. Hulina had known for a long time that Yan liked her. However, Yan's conditions did not meet her requirements. Her requirements for her other half are not high. That is, she must be more talented than herself and more handsome than her brother. In terms of talent, Yan is on par with her brother. In fact, except for the quality of her martial spirit, she is slightly inferior to her brother in other aspects. In terms of appearance, although Yan can be considered handsome, he is far less handsome than her brother. Her talent is higher than her brother's. Yan is not as good as her brother, so naturally he is not as good as her. Yan's talent and looks did not meet her requirements for a partner, not to mention that he always tried to please her without any bottom line, which made Hulina very annoyed. Her other half should be of equal status to her, instead of being like Yan, who is always inferior to her. He can neither give her the security and happiness she wants, nor be a support to protect her from wind and rain. Hulina's cold answer did not make Yan feel sad, but instead made him secretly happy. "Nana. Did it correct my way of calling her? Does that mean I can call her Nana? That's great. I'm one step closer to catching up with Nana." Looking at Yan with a mysterious smile on his face, Ziyu's forehead was full of question marks. He didn't understand why his sister was so cold to Yan, but Yan seemed very happy. This made Ziyu secretly guess, could it be that Yan has a masochistic tendency? Be alert. There's a soul beast. Ziyu had just taken a breath when he heard the soul Douluo, who was walking in front of the team to lead the way, shouting loudly in the forest. A huge white fox shuttled through the trees, flashing past them at an extremely fast speed. Hulina's expression suddenly became extremely excited, because when the white fox passed by her, she clearly saw that the white fox had 3 eyes. The three-eyed demon fox is exactly the soul beast that she desires for her 5th soul ring. Except Hulina, everyone else in the team also saw the 3 eyes of the white fox. Ziyu suddenly recalled the memory from 2 years ago and exclaimed loudly, "It is it, that is it. It is the 3-eyed demon fox that I accidentally encountered 2 years ago and is nearly 30,000 years old. Bishops, hurry up and chase after Nana. Don't let her 5th spirit ring escape." The soul Douluo, including Saris, remained silent. When Ziyu just opened his mouth, they activated their martial spirits and chased after him without saying a word. "Brother, Yan, hurry up, let's catch up." As she spoke, Hulina had already completed the fox possession, and 4 soul rings, 2 yellow and 2 purple, appeared on her body. The 3-eyed demon fox was right in front of her. She didn't bother to wait for her brother and Yan's reaction. The moment she completed the possession of the demon fox, she chased in the direction of the 3-eyed demon fox at full speed. "Nana, wait for me," almost. At the same time, Yan also completed the possession of the Fire Lord and followed closely behind Hulina. The only person left there was Ziyu, who looked a little dazed. He just suddenly saw the three-eyed demon fox, recalled his memories from 2 years ago and said a few words. Is there anything wrong with that? Why did everyone leave him here? Damn. After Ziyu reacted, he immediately completed the spirit possession and ran to chase the large army that was almost gone. After Ziyu left, Lin Rong's figure walked out from the void on the branch of the big tree behind him, with a smile on his face. What a coincidence. I didn't expect there would be an unexpected gain. Time goes back to a while ago. Lin Rong and his team successfully found the 32,000-year-old green water clam in a large lake. The old butler took action and severely damaged the green water clam, leaving it to Ning Rongrong to deliver the final blow. While waiting for Ning Rongrong to absorb the soul ring, Lin Rong sensed the life breath of 6 humans appearing within the range of his life perception. One of them was none other than the former platinum bishop of the Spirit Hall, Salith. At first, Lin Rong was just curious and simply wanted to see what Salith wanted to do in the Star Dao Forest. He never thought that Salith would give him such a big surprise at such a close distance. Lin Rong could clearly sense the faint aura of divine power in the bodies of the 3 people from the golden generation of the Spirit Hall, the 7 deadly sins, pride, anger, and lust. The personalities of these 3 people from the golden generation really fit the inheritance of these 3 divine thrones. There is an old saying in the past: life and death are determined by fate, and wealth and honor are determined by heaven. The inheritance of the gods is both an opportunity and the root of disaster. Whether you have this blessing and live a long life depends on how strong your life is. Lin Rong took out a coral stone pendant. This soul guide device that could store living things contained a 100,000-year-old transformed soul beast, the soft bone rabbit. The coral stone flashed, and 6 slightly dirty hairs floated in the air. Titan. Giant ape. They have the scent of your beloved Xiao Wu on them. What will you do? Don't let me down. The silver-white light enveloped the 6 strands of hair that were pulled from Xiao Wu's head. Lin Rong activated the green leaf mark that he had just quietly planted on the 6 people from the Spirit Hall. The space replacement was activated, and a silk thread on their clothes was replaced by hair with Xiao Wu's scent. At the same time, the golden generation of the Spirit Hall who were chasing the 3-eyed demon fox suddenly felt their hair trembling, as if something bad was about to happen to them. But now was the critical moment of chasing the 3-eyed demon fox, so they didn't think too much about it and soon forgot about it. The center of the Star Forest. At the moment when Lin Rong took Xiao Wu's hair out of the soul guide, the Titan ape who was drinking water by the lake was suddenly stunned, and his honest eyes bloomed with extreme excitement, and he shouted, "Brother, sister Xiao is back, I'll go pick her up." Boom boom boom. The earth is shaking. The surface of the lake was rippling, and when the sky blue bull python surfaced, the Titan ape had already crashed into countless trees and ran out of its sight. Looking at the devastated home destroyed by the Titan ape, the azure bull python's huge bull head showed an extremely human helplessness. The huge python body left the lake and came to the ground to start doing the aftermath work. Chase? Chase? The deeper the better. The 3-eyed demon fox smiled secretly, and calmly and elegantly snatched the soul attacks released by the 3 soul fighters of the Spirit Hall, and constantly lured the 6 people of the Spirit Hall to chase into the depths of the Star Dao Great Forest. This 3-eyed demon fox is not a real soul beast, but an illusion that Lin Rong materialized with his mental power. He separated a part of his consciousness into the illusion so that he could try to control the course of the chess game. They would not think that it was really such a coincidence that a 3-eyed demon fox with a cultivation level of nearly 30,000 years would suddenly appear in front of them. They did not even use their brains to think about how a soul beast with a cultivation level of less than 30,000 years dared to hang around in front of 3 soul Daolus. Asshole. Salith looked at the 3-eyed demon fox that was so close to him but always easily dodged their soul attacks, and couldn't help cursing in his heart. This damn soul beast, how can it run so fast? The mental state of the other 2 Contras was not much better than that of Cirrus. If they, 3 soul Daolus, could lose a soul beast that hadn't cultivated for 30,000 years, their colleagues would laugh to death if they heard about it in the back. Yu Yuan and Hulina could not keep up with the speed of the 3 soul Daolus due to their shallow cultivation. At this moment, they could no longer see the figures in front of them. They could only rely on the traces left by the 3 bishops on their journey to ensure that they would not lose them. Nana. While hurrying on the road, it was not clear whether it was Ziyu or Yan who said vaguely, "We seem to be going deeper and deeper into the Star Forest. We are now in the inner area. If we continue like this, I'm afraid there will be big problems, because..." The words were too unclear. Hulina's mind was on the 3-eyed demon fox, So she ignored it and walked silently along the traces left by the three bishops. Seeing this, Zhu and Yan could only follow silently. End of this chapter. Chapter 198 Speed of Life and Death. It's almost there. The Titan ape's huge body rampaged through the forest, ignoring the terrain and obstacles. All obstacles in its way, such as big trees, rocks, etc., were crushed by it without exception. When the king of the forest goes out, all the beasts are frightened. The two auras unique to the 100,000-year soul beasts and the Titan giant ape soul beast race were leaked out without any concealment, causing panic among the 10,000-year soul beasts living in the inner part of the Sky Dou Great Forest and causing considerable unrest. At this moment, the Titan ape's mind was filled with the joy of meeting Sister Xiao Wu, whom he had not seen for more than 5 years. This caused its already low IQ to completely ignore one thing. After Xiao Wu's aura appeared, it was evenly divided into 6 equal parts, and soon after, it was divided into 2 equal parts in pairs of 3 at this time. The azure bull python, whose brain was a little better, had realized that something seemed to be wrong, but it couldn't put its finger on it, so it had to continue cleaning up the mess Erming had made on the shore of the lake. The Titan ape had no idea that anything was wrong, and the whole beast was still immersed in the fantasy with Sister Xiao. There was a wetland inside the Sky Dou Great Forest. The Titan ape waded through the wetland, and mud splashed everywhere, turning the clear water into extremely turbid. After a while, the Titan ape's figure disappeared into the distance, and a black shadow emerged from beneath the turbid water of the wetland. There was a crash. The black shadow broke out of the water, revealing its true appearance. It was a huge tiger that was pure black without a single color. There is a pair of fallen evil god wings growing on the ribs of the tiger's body, and a long scorpion tail composed of countless bone joints growing on the tail. The dark demonic tiger is the beast that represents the evil god walking in the world compared to the last time it fought with Lin Rong. The dark demon evil god tiger had become larger and more slender, and the aura it exuded was even more powerful apparently. During this period, it devoured many soul beasts to improve its cultivation. And on the back of the dark demon evil god tiger, there was a young girl sitting. The girl was wearing a simple knee-length halter dress, and her black hair, long enough to drag on the ground, was wet at the moment the hibiscus comes out of the clear water and is carved naturally even without makeup. The girl's face is still stunning, and there is a natural beauty in it. Looking at the direction where the Titan ape left, a hint of viciousness flashed across the girl's beautiful white face. With a few drops of water she was bathing in the wetland, and not long after that, the dark demon evil god tiger Xiao He, who was standing guard nearby, came running over to tell her that a 100,000-year old dead gorilla was heading towards them at high speed. She had no choice but to finish her bath in a hurry and hide under the water with Xiao He. Xiao He, didn't you say that the dead gorilla usually stays in the core area of the Sky Dou Great Forest and never goes out easily? The girl questioned the dark demon evil god tiger in a bad tone. Why did that dead gorilla walk out of the core area of the Sky Dou Great Forest today and happen to pass by the wetland where I was bathing? I am extremely sorry, my dear princess. The dark demon evil god tiger replied humbly, with a hint of grievance in his tone. That 100,000-year-old dead gorilla is just like the other 100,000-year-old dead bullhead. On weekdays, they basically stay in the core area of the Sky Dou Great Forest and rarely go out, but there are exceptions to everything. Seeing how hurried and anxious the dead gorilla is, I think it has something to do with a dead rabbit that has transformed 100,000 years ago. That dead rabbit is the nominal sister of the dead gorilla and the dead bullhead. The relationship between the three beasts is very deep, which has surpassed the races between soul beasts. After the dead rabbit transformed, it went to the human world in order to grow normally. If it returned to the Sky Dou Great Forest at this time, the dead gorilla would sense the dead rabbit's breath and would rush out to pick up the dead rabbit like it did just now. When talking about the dead rabbit, a deep greed flashed in the scarlet eyes of the dark demon evil god tiger. For any soul beast, once it is devoured, a soul beast that has transformed for 100,000 years can gain great benefits, even if the soul beast does not have the ability to devour, and at least save 10,000 years of hard training. Any ordinary soul beast can do this, let alone it which has the ability to devour. After devouring the dead rabbit, the benefits it will gain will be several times greater than those of other soul beasts. It also had its eyes on the dead rabbit and its mother. However, before it could do anything, the dead rabbit's mother was captured by a dangerous human female soul master. After the dead rabbit's mother died, the dead gorilla and the dead bullhead protected the dead rabbit almost closely, making it difficult for it to find a suitable opportunity to attack. You mean That damn gorilla was in such a hurry to pick up a rabbit soul beast that has transformed for 100,000 years. The sinister look on the girl's face disappeared, and an innocent smile appeared. She looked like a pure girl who fell into the water, making people want to hold her in their hands and protect her with love. The sweet and moving laughter like a silver bell echoed in the air. Rabbit, how kind and cute it is. A 100,000-year-old transformed soul beast represents a 100,000-year-old soul ring and a 100,000-year-old soul bone. All of these will belong to me, Xiao. Hey, follow him, don't let the dead gorilla get away. Yes, my respected princess. The dark demon evil god tiger answered respectfully. The evil god's wings surged with the power of wind, and in the blink of an eye it rushed towards the direction where the titan giant ape left. Although the dead rabbit no longer belongs to it, it doesn't matter because there is still the dead gorilla. During this period, its cultivation level was greatly improved due to its crazy devouring, and its age increased from over 50,000 years to over 60,000 years. The reason why its age and cultivation level can have such an explosive increase is thanks to the power of the evil god's artifact, the judgment scale, which greatly enhanced its devouring ability, allowing it to improve its cultivation level by about 10,000 years in such a short period of time. The dark demon evil god tiger was confident that he had cultivated for over 60,000 years, and his combat power was definitely superior to that dead gorilla. In a one-on-one situation, it is fully confident that it can capture the dead gorilla and devour it, turning it into its own nutrients. In the forest, the three soul Dalos from the spirit hall followed the three-eyed demon fox closely. The first three soul rings on their bodies flashed from time to time, and they released long-range attack soul skills to try to interfere with the escape speed of the three-eyed demon fox. But this three-eyed demon fox was extremely agile and could dodge them perfectly no matter how tricky the angle of their attack was. They also wanted to release high-powered and large-scale spirit skills, but they were already deep in the inner circle of the starred-out Great Forest, where there were many 10,000-year-old spirit beasts. Once their soul power is consumed too much and they happen to encounter a powerful 10,000-year soul beast, then it will be unknown whether they can leave the starred-out Great Forest alive, let alone capture the three-eyed demon fox. It should be soon, right? The three-eyed demon fox, which was materialized by Lin Rong's spiritual power, fled rapidly in the forest, turning back from time to time to glance at the three people from the spirit hall behind him. After being so deep in the inner circle of the starred-out Great Forest for so long, the Titan ape should be here soon. Unfortunately, I only have a part of my consciousness. I don't have the ability to sense the life of my main body, so I can't sense where the Titan ape is now. The two sides chased each other, and just like this, more than half an hour passed as the three-eyed demon fox fled. He heard the loud sound of trees breaking in the distance, and even the earth was shaking slightly. Here we come. The three-eyed demon fox suddenly stopped and looked back at the three people from the spirit hall. The cunning fox face was filled with an expression of wishing you good luck. Then, before the three people from the spirit hall could make any move, the three-eyed demon fox turned into starlight and dissipated into the air in front of their extremely astonished gazes. Disappeared? How is that possible? Among the three, Salus looked a little surprised and doubtful. The expression on the three-eyed demon fox's face before it disappeared flashed through his mind, and he felt more and more uneasy. But soon, Saris and the other two soul fighters understood what the expression of the three-eyed demon fox meant. Boom boom boom, the loud noise came from far away and the earth was shaking more and more violently. This aura is from the Titan ape, the king of the forest. The faces of Salus and the other two soul fighters turned extremely pale in an instant. The huge fear in their hearts made them break out in cold sweats, and their clothes were instantly soaked. Escape. Run away. Run away desperately. At this moment, this was the only thought in their minds. What? The three of them teamed up to fight the Titan ape. What a joke. Although they are three soul Douluo, when they join hands they can at best defeat the recently promoted title Douluo, and they may not even be able to defeat him. What kind of existence is the Titan giant ape? Even a senior title Douluo cannot beat it in a one-on-one. Its fighting power is at least comparable to that of the Douluo worshippers in their spirit hall. Without any hesitation, Sarath turned and ran. He used all the soul skills that could increase speed among his 8 soul rings. As for the consumption of soul power and so on, my life is almost gone, so how can I care about this? Among the 3 soul Douluo of the spirit hall, Sarath has the highest level of soul power. At the same time, among the 3 of them, 2 are strong attack soul fighters and 1 is a defense soul fighter, and none of them are good at speed and agility attack. This also made Sarath, who had the highest soul power level, escape the fastest, running in the front of the 3 people Who? 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 After a while, 3 extremely angry roars were heard from behind them. This made them even more terrified. Faced with a life and death crisis, their potential was unleashed, and their escape speed increased slightly. Sister Xiao. No, the aura of Sister Xiao Wu was clearly here, but the Titan giant ape only saw 3 human soul masters. 3 soul masters with the aura of Sister Xiao Wu. When he thought about what might happen to Sister Xiao Wu if she fell into the hands of a human spirit master, an unprecedented anger surged in the Titan giant ape's heart. A hint of blood red appeared in its lantern-sized yellow eyes, and soon the entire pupil was dyed bloody. Damn! You all deserve to die. The Titan giant ape slammed the ground with both arms, and an invisible aura was released from it. Almost in an instant, it caught up with the 3 human soul masters who were fleeing in front. The moment this aura enveloped the 3 soul Dalos of the spirit hall, they felt that everything around them became heavy, and their bodies seemed as heavy as if they were filled with lead. The sudden change caused their speed to drop sharply, and even everything in front of them seemed to be slightly distorted. Damn, it's a talent field. And it's related to gravity. After all, Sarath was the former platinum bishop of the spirit hall. He had a very high vision and immediately recognized the source of the power that was affecting them at this moment. Immense despair invaded Sarath's heart because he knew that under the interference of the gravity field effect, their chances of escaping from the Titan ape were very slim. Sure enough, as the suffocating breath got closer and closer, in just a few minutes, the Titan ape in a violent state caught up with them. Roar! The Titan ape roared, raised his huge fist like a mountain and smashed it at one of the 3 human soul masters in front of him. In this desperate situation, an extreme desire to survive emerged from the bottom of Sarath's heart. No, I can't die. I haven't returned to the position of platinum bishop yet. I haven't broken through to the title Douluo yet. I still have a bright future and a wonderful life. I can't die here. I'm sorry, both of you. A hint of viciousness flashed in his eyes, and when the Titan ape's fist was about to hide him, the 5th soul ring on his body flashed, and with the power of his soul skill, he unexpectedly pulled a colleague behind him and pushed him hard. What? The soul finder was shocked. He couldn't imagine that Saras would do such a thing to survive. Saras, you must not. Before he could finish his last words, the fist that was getting bigger and bigger in his eyes had already hit him. Boom! The Titan ape's power, as huge as a mountain, smashed the soul fighter into pulp. He was dead beyond death. Sarath also used the recoil force to move some distance away from the Titan ape. HMPH. Selfish humans. Don't even think about escaping from my palm. The Titan ape retracted his fist and manipulated the power of the gravity field to change the surrounding gravity. Gravity decreases. The gravity was increasing just now, but it suddenly decreased, causing Salas and another Contra to fail to react. The change in gravity made them unable to maintain their balance, and they fell heavily to the ground. Gravity increases. Seeing the 2 human soul masters fall to the ground, the Titan giant ape immediately increased the gravity around them. It took this opportunity to come to them. What? A miserable sound was heard, and the Titan giant ape casually trampled another human soul master to death, leaving behind the selfish human who had just survived its hands. Besides you, there are 3 other people who have the aura of Sister Xiao. After I kill you, I will take their lives and avenge Sister Xiao. Selfish human. Die. Looking at the Titan ape's waving fists, Salas closed his eyes in despair and waited for the arrival of death. A few seconds later, Sarath felt that he seemed to be still alive, but before he opened his eyes, a sweet voice came to his ears. Hey, I haven't seen you for a few years. How come you look so miserable? Bishop Sarath. End of this chapter. Chapter 199, Holy Face, Devil's Whisper. Between life and death there are great horrors, but also great opportunities. After escaping death, Sarath's soul power broke through from the peak of level 87 to level 88. Although the bottleneck of soul power that had troubled him for many years was finally broken through, Salas did not feel excited or thrilled. Instead, his heart was filled with fear and anxiety. He panted heavily, tremblingly got up from the ground, looked at the strange woman in front of him, and asked with lingering fear, "You, who are you? Who am I?" The girl laughed sweetly like a silver bell, her tone playful. "My Lord Bishop Sarath is truly a forgetful man. A few years ago, we met once at the Xiandao Royal Hunting Ground during the second stage of the All-Continental High-Level Spirit Master Elite Competition. Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. At that time, I was just an insignificant princess of a small kingdom, while Bishop Sereth was the highest authority in charge of the spirit hall in the Heaven Dou Empire. In your eyes, my father is nothing more than a slightly larger ant. He is not worthy of your attention at all, let alone me. At this time, she had changed out of her previous plain suspender skirt and put on an exquisite, multi-layered black long skirt with a stand-up collar and high waist. The long black hair was slightly curled, falling down softly and shiny to the ground. She has delicate facial features, tall stature, a slender yet plump figure, and an elegant and pure temperament. She is like a blooming black rose, beautiful, charming and intoxicating on that breathtakingly beautiful face. Those sapphire eyes were as quiet and deep as the sea, making it impossible to see her true thoughts through her eyes. The girl in the black skirt turned her head slightly, looked elegantly at the dark demon evil god tiger who was confronting the titan giant ape, and whispered, "Zio Hei, make it quick and decisive. I don't want to waste too much time." The dark demon evil god tiger took some time to think and answered respectfully, "I will follow your orders, my dear princess." After saying that, the dark demon evil god tiger looked at the titan giant ape, his scarlet eyes filled with greedy desire. "You dead gorilla, this time there's no dead bullhead by your side. I will accept your flesh and blood, your cultivation without hesitation." Humph. Although the titan ape looked at the dark demon evil god tiger with fear in his eyes, he still said stubbornly, "Who is afraid of whom? Even if Big Brother isn't here, I, Erming, can still pin you to the ground and beat you up." After the harsh words were spoken, the monkey and the tiger began to fight each other. At one side, a girl in a black dress took out a set of tea table and chairs from a soul guide in the shape of a gem necklace, sat on the tea chair gracefully, and sipped the teacup carefully. A black tiger with wings? What kind of soul beast is that? Salas calmed down his agitated emotions and looked at the girl in the black dress with a hint of command in his tone. The girl in the black dress remained indifferent and continued to sip the tea in the cup. Humph. Sereth felt that his self-esteem had been severely damaged by the other party's attitude, and he began to threaten, "Colluding with soul beasts. Do you know how serious a crime this is?" The last person to be charged with this crime by the Spirit Hall was the Xiaotian sect, the leader of the 7 major sects in the Spirit Master world. Even the Xiaotian sect, which is the strongest sect in the world, is nothing more than a stray dog in front of my Wuhan Hall. It was forced to give up all its affiliated forces, seal its own mountain gate, and live in shame. You are just a princess of a kingdom, and even your father is just a dog of my spirit hall. How dare you be so disrespectful to this bishop? What crime should you be punished for? But I am a magnanimous bishop. As long as you teach me how to control the black tiger spirit beast, I will forgive you. How do you think?" Although he didn't know what kind of soul beast a black tiger was, just by looking at its cultivation of more than 60,000 years and its ability to directly suppress the super soul beast titan giant ape with a cultivation of 100,000 years, he knew that this soul beast was definitely extraordinary. And from the black tiger's performance just now, it seemed that it completely obeyed the little princess in front of him, who he had no impression of and whose kingdom she was from. This made Sereth feel curious and greedy. He had even begun to imagine the scene in which his status in the spirit hall would greatly increase after he obtained the method to control the black tiger soul beast. The girl in the black dress listened to Sereth's threatening words calmly and said calmly, "Ceres, you don't seem to realize your current situation. I call you bishop. You don't really think you are such a big shot, do you? Colluding with soul beasts? So what, now that I am alone, what can the spirit hall do to me? It's you instead, Sereth. In order to survive, you are willing to sacrifice the lives of your colleagues, and these are 2 contras who are at the same level as you. Cardinal, tell me, if the spirit hall's pope and the elders knew about this, what would happen to you?" the distinguished bishop say. "You wouldn't be unaware of this, right? Alone?" Sereth suddenly recalled something and shouted, You are from the royal family of the Häagen-Dazs kingdom." In response, the girl in the black dress did not answer, but the change in her expression told Sereth that his guess was correct. This answer made Sereth's face look extremely ugly. The Häagen-Dazs kingdom has been destroyed by the attack of the Poseidon Empire, and most of its royal family members have been killed or injured, especially the direct descendants of the royal king. He originally planned to use the safety of the other party's family to threaten the girl in the black dress so that she would have to submit to him, but now this wishful thinking has been shattered. Now that he had made an enemy, Salas had no way out. So he had to go all out and walked forward to hold the girl in the black dress hostage. Even though the black tiger is powerful, how strong can this poor princess be? He is a level 88 soul Douluo. It is easy for him to capture a little princess. Oh, you finally can't help it and take action. The girl in the black dress didn't seem surprised at all by Sareth's behavior. The corners of her mouth slightly raised, and she smiled sarcastically. Sareth, don't you want to know how I control hearing? This, Sareth paused slightly. Just as he was about to say something, he saw a small, pure black Libra that looked very ordinary appear between the hands of the girl in the black dress. Judgment of good and evil, set. The black scales emitted a black and white beam of light, which instantly hit Sareth's heart. Sareth's expression suddenly changed, and he squatted on the ground, covering his heart with his hands in pain, and let out a shrill scream. Seeing this, the girl in the black skirt chuckled and said, "This is the scale of judgment, which can determine the good and evil hearts of living beings. You just sacrificed the lives of your colleagues just to save yourself. Such evil behavior has filled your heart with evil. I am not strong enough to use the judgment of good and evil instantly. It takes time to collect the aura of good and evil emanating from you, and you gave me that time. If you had decided to fight from the beginning, I would not be your opponent and would have had to flee in panic, but you have missed the best time to take action." On the ground, Sareth rolled over in pain, his screams getting louder and louder, which was terrifying and trembling to hear. "Mercy, mercy, your highness, I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please spare me, spare me." The girl in the black dress leaned back in the chair gracefully, indifferent to Sareth's pleas for mercy. Although her face looked so innocent, her expression at this moment was full of indifference and cruelty. The screams were heard one after another, and soon Sareth passed out on the ground, motionless. Seeing this, the girl in the black dress stood up from the chair. With the black scales suspended in front of her, she put her hands together and a pure black flower appeared between them. Yellow, purple and black, the 5 soul rings shine alternately. The girl flew into the air, her long hair flying, her black skirt fluttering, and the petals of the black flower fell on the scale plate at one end of the scale. She muttered to herself, saying, "The judgment scales that represent world order. As the holder of the divine weapon, I order you to implant the evil heart into the dirty and dark person in front of me. I am Anna, the source of evil, the inheritor of the supreme god of evil. He, the Spirit Hall's Cardinal Sareth, will always be loyal to me and will never betray me until the end of his life. Good and evil are not determined. Judgment is coming." After Anna finished chanting the spell, the scale plate holding the black petals suddenly flashed with light, and an invisible evil aura surged out from the void and poured into the black petals. Not long after, the black petals turned into a beating, somewhat illusory black heart. Then, the scale on the other end of the scales of judgment began to flicker. Salas, who was lying on the ground, was pulled by an unknown force and suspended in the air. A huge gash was cut on his heart, and a beating, bright red heart flew out of the huge gash and fell on the empty pan of the scales of judgment. As soon as the bright red heart fell, a huge sizzling sound was heard, and wisps of black gas came out of the heart as if it was burnt by electricity. Black air filled the surface of the bright red heart, and it became more and more, soon turning the bright red heart completely black. When there is no more movement, the scales change at both ends of the scale. The scale holding the illusory black heart slowly rises, while the scale holding the real black heart slowly sinks. Soon after, the scale holding the solid black heart sank to the bottom on the other end of the scale. The beating illusory black heart slowly flew up, flew to the position of Sareth's heart little by little, flew in through the huge hole, and landed on the position where his heart originally was. Beating, and his original heart was completely destroyed by the power of the scales of judgment the moment the evil heart was placed, turning into a wisp of black smoke and dissipated in the wind. Sareth landed on the ground from the air and opened his eyes. His eyes looked a little empty, but he quickly regained consciousness after seeing the person in front of him clearly. He immediately knelt on one knee, saluted humbly, and said respectfully, "My great master, your highness Princess Anna, your loyal servant Sareth is willing to follow you forever. I'm sorry for my rude behavior earlier. Thank you for letting bygones be bygones and giving me the opportunity to follow you. I swear that my loyalty to you is witnessed by heaven and earth, and I will never betray you until the end of my life. The Spirit Hall's Star Dao Great Forest is here to help the Golden Generation obtain the 5th Soul Ring and advance to Soul King. To show my loyalty to you, I will capture the 3 of them and bring them to you, my master." Having said that, Sareth did not stand up immediately because his master, Princess Anna, did not allow him to stand up. Golden Generation. Anna suddenly became interested. She saw clearly from the dark demon evil god tiger what the Titanate did just now. Salis and the other two had the aura of the 100,000-year-old transformed rabbit on them, so the dead rabbit was very likely in the hands of the spirit hall, or perhaps in the hands of the Pope's disciple named Hulina, one of the three people from the Golden Generation. The name of the Golden Generation, after the spirit hall's unremitting promotion in the past few years, can be said to be well known throughout the spirit master community, and it is almost known to everyone. Although on the surface, Ziyu is the leader of the Golden Generation, but as a woman, Anna keenly perceives that Hulina is the real core of the Golden Generation. I heard that the Pope's disciple is only 18 years old this year, and he has already reached level 50 at such a young age. He is truly gifted. Anna sat back in her chair and spoke to herself. Although she is still a little slower than me, I reached Soul King at the age of 17, but I was able to achieve this level of cultivation thanks to the inheritance of the god of evil. How could a mortal like her be able to keep pace with me? Even the twin flowers are only worthy of being my shadow. Hulina is just an ordinary person. How can she be worthy? At this moment, Anna seemed to realize that Seraph was still kneeling on the ground, and said lightly, "Stand up, my loyal servant, go, solve my troubles, you know how to do it." Seraph did not stand up immediately, but bowed again and said respectfully, "Of course, my great master, it is my honor as a servant to share your worries. Please wait here. I will return with an answer that satisfies you, my master, and present the three people of the Golden Generation to you for your judgment." Somewhere inside the Star Forest, three people from the Golden Generation are fighting against a soul beast, and the battle has reached a white-hot stage and is extremely fierce. The thing is like this: while they were following the footsteps left by the three bishops, they happened to meet the real three-eyed demon fox. Although they were somewhat puzzled that three soul Douluo bishops would actually lose track of a soul beast that was less than 30,000 years old, but opportunity is fleeting. Since the three bishops have lost track, the task of hunting down the three-eyed demon fox will be completed by them personally. The three-eyed demon fox has been cultivating for nearly 30,000 years, and its combat power is equivalent to that of a 7-ring soul saint. The three of them have a soul power level of only level 50, and are quasi-soul kings who have not yet obtained the 5th soul ring, but they still don't think they can't win. They had long wanted to see the power of the divine weapon in actual combat among the three. The main force against the three-eyed demon fox is Ziyu and Hulina's martial soul fusion skill Yao Mei, while Yan is responsible for assisting in providing fire support. The power of the artifacts lived up to expectations, and with the help of the three artifacts, Pride, Fire of Rage and Eye of Desire, they successfully gained the upper hands in the battle with the three-eyed demon fox. Moreover, the injuries caused by the artifact are far beyond the injuries caused by ordinary soul skills. The pain of arrogance is attached to the two moon blades held by the demon, and every time they fall on the three-eyed demon fox, it can cause huge trauma to it. If it weren't for the soul beast's strong vitality, the three-eyed demon fox would not have been able to hold on until now and would have been defeated in the end. The three-eyed demon fox, which was already at the end of its strength, died at the hands of the full moon soul skill created by Ziyu and performed by Yao Mei. End of this chapter. Chapter 200. Sitting on the mountain and watching the tiger fight. The three-eyed demon fox is nothing more than that. The intertwining voices of man and woman echoed in the air around them. The next moment, a red light curtain enveloped the androgynous demon with long fluttering hair. Split into Ziyu and Hulina in the red light curtain. Looking at the black 10,000-year soul ring in front of him, Ziyu said to his sister in a slightly faster tone, "Nana, this place is already the inner area of the Xingdao Great Forest. It is extremely dangerous and it is not suitable for you to stay here for long. You should hurry up and absorb the spirit ring of the three-eyed demon fox. Yan and I will protect you." Yan also came over at this moment and echoed, "Yes, Nana, just rest assured to absorb the spirit ring, and don't worry about the rest. Leave it to you and me." "Yes." Hulina didn't act pretentiously. After sitting cross-legged on the ground and regulating her breath for a while, she immediately began to absorb the three-eyed demon fox soul ring that was nearly 30,000 years old. Seeing this, Ziyu and Yan also began to be alert to the possible dangers around them, while absorbing the free energy of heaven and earth in the air to slowly restore their consumed soul power. On the other side, Sarath was returning along the trail he and his two colleagues had left behind, thinking, the three of them are quasi-soul kings, so their speed is not slow. According to common sense, they are rushing towards me and I am rushing towards them. If we run in both directions, it won't be long before we run into each other. I Hope their route did not deviate from the traces left by me and the other two unlucky guys. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to find 3 soul masters in such a huge zinged out great forest. Rongrong, how is it? Oscar approached Ning Rongrong, curiously looking at the gorgeous lily sect in her hand, and said, a 5th spirit ring that is more than 32,000 years old. This is the first of its kind among all spirit masters, all auxiliary spirit masters. May I ask, Your Majesty, how much soul power does this soul ring provide you? Although Ning Rongrong knew that this was Oscar's compliment, she enjoyed the emotional value these words provided her. She held the Liuli Sex martial spirit in her palms, smiling elegantly and politely. Very good, this soul ring representing the pearl gem has provided me with a little more than 3 levels of soul power. I am now a soul king of level 53. In addition, as you can see, this spirit ring representing the pearl gem has once again caused my martial spirit to show signs of evolution. The shadow of the 9th floor has appeared on the top of the 8 treasures glazed tower. Ning Rongrong has 5 soul rings, representing gems such as diamond, emerald, ruby, white jade, and pearl. Diamonds are taken from diamond mammoths, jadeite is taken from emerald bird, rubies are taken from ruby sunflowers, white jade is taken from white jade tortoises, and pearls are taken from clear water clams. Her 7 treasures glazed pagoda martial soul showed signs of evolution after absorbing the diamond mammoth soul ring for more than 400 years. After absorbing the white jade black turtle soul ring for more than 7,000 years, it completely evolved into the 8 treasures glazed pagoda, and now, this 5th soul ring representing the pearl gem allows her martial soul to evolve from the 8 treasures glazed tower to the 9 treasures glazed tower. Wow, Miss Ning's martial spirit is so beautiful. Yunwei stared at the glazed tower held up by Ning Rongrong's hands, the 9-colored light emitted by the glazed tower reflected in his pupils, and said sincerely, among the 4 of us, you are the youngest, but your soul power level is the highest. You are worthy of being the heir of the upper 3 sects. The only one who can compete with Miss Ning is the one under the young master, but even so, he is 1 month older than you. Which one? Who is it? Ning Rongrong and Oscar were both full of questions, and even Yi Lingling felt a little curious. Yunwei saw the puzzled expressions on their faces and immediately realized that he seemed to have said something he shouldn't have said, so he said weakly, don't you know? Forget it, just pretend I never said anything. At this time, after Yunwei's reminder, Ning Rongrong found that Lin Rong was not here, so she looked at the old housekeeper and asked politely, Mr. Yu, where's Lord Lin? There was a set of chairs on the lakeside. The old butler sat there and answered gently, an acquaintance has arrived. The young master has gone to greet him. We will just wait quietly here, acquaintance. Ning Rongrong blinked thoughtfully and thought to herself, the more we learn, the less we know. It really becomes more and more mysterious. Forest. Clearing, the dark demon evil god tiger and the titan giant ape fought each other, and the battle was extremely fierce. Anna sat gracefully on the tea chair, enjoying this wonderful show with great interest. What she didn't know was that on the big tree behind her, there was another person who was silently watching this intense and exciting battle. The Scales of Judgment, a divine weapon that can judge all living beings. Although Lin Rong arrived a little late, he was fortunate enough to witness the scene where Anna used the Scales of Judgment to activate the skill of judgment of good and evil and subdued Serath. As her servant, Lin Rong was truly amazed by the power of the judgment scales, which could completely control a person's mind and make him loyal to himself. But fortunately, according to Lin Rong's observation, Judgment Libra's ability to control others seems to have certain limitations. The judgment of good and evil is to measure a person's good and evil heart. Salas had just done something unforgivable, and his character was not that of a good person. That was why during his trial, the weight of his heart that was dug out was heavier than the heart that appeared on the other end of the scale. If it is a pure and kind heart, or even if the soul is not pure and kind, but the weight of the heart and the phantom heart on the other end of the scale can at least be maintained at a balance, the judgment of good and evil will not be able to subdue people into becoming servants of the initiator. Anna, the princess of the extinct Häagen-Dazs kingdom, I didn't expect that the identity of the heir of the god of evil would be this. She just said that she and Yunwei are twins. From her tone, it seems that she is not surprised at all by Yunwei's existence. Could it be that Yunwei and she are twins, but Yunwei was abandoned by the royal family of the Häagen-Dazs kingdom for unknown reasons? Thinking about it carefully, Yunwei did say that she was an orphan without a father or a mother. She looks exactly like Anna, and even their martial spirits are one black and one white, and they look the same. If They are really twins. I don't know who is the older sister, her or Yunwei. Lin Rong turned his gaze away from Anna and looked at the fierce fighting on the battlefield. In terms of the quality of soul beast bloodline, the bloodline of the Titan giant ape is already of the highest quality among all soul beasts, and there are very few soul beast bloodlines that can compare with it. But unfortunately, the dark demon evil god tiger's soul beast blood contains the power of the evil god. In terms of soul beast blood alone, among the entire soul beast race, only the thundering hell vine with the rare blood of the thunder god can compete with the dark demon evil god tiger. Although the Titan giant ape soul beast bloodline is noble, it is only on par with or slightly better than the dark demon evil god tiger's predecessor, the bright white tiger, which was contaminated by the evil god. This is the case with the bright white tiger, which was not contaminated by the evil god, let alone the dark demon evil god tiger, which was strengthened by the evil god. Because of this, even if the Titan giant ape has a cultivation base of 100,000 years, it will still be at a disadvantage in a head-on battle against the dark demon evil god tiger, which has a cultivation base of only over 60,000 years. The two major talent fields, the gravity field and the evil god field, have different focuses, and their impact on the battle situation also varies. Although the evil god's domain suppressed the gravity field in terms of power, it could only weaken the effect of the gravity field and could not isolate the gravity field from changing the gravity of the surrounding environment. The Titan ape's superb control of the gravity field, combined with its unrivaled brute force, caused great trouble to the dark demon evil god tiger, allowing the battle situation to barely maintain an evenly matched situation. But the Titan ape can only do so much. The effects of the evil god's domain are energy erosion and perception shielding. Energy erosion makes the powerful defense of the Titan ape's surface skin of little use in the face of this ability. Perception shielding allows the dark demon evil god tiger to hide itself and appear in a position where the Titan giant ape can hardly detect and launch an attack. The situation on the battlefield is now evenly matched, but a closer look will reveal that the Titan giant ape's attacks cannot hurt the dark demon evil god tiger at all. But the dark demon evil god tiger can leave scars on the Titan giant ape from time to time. These scars are attached with an evil aura, and under the influence of the evil god's domain, they will continue to erode the vitality of the Titan giant ape. Therefore, as time goes by, the scales of victory are bound to tilt towards the dark demon evil god tiger. But this is not the case. The evil aura emanating from the scars on the Titan ape seemed to have stimulated the aura of destruction that was tinged on it. The scepter of destruction is the artifact of the god of destruction. Although the Titan giant ape cannot be recognized by the artifact due to its identity as a soul beast, its body has more or less absorbed the aura of destruction emitted by the artifact during the months that it has been in contact with the scepter of destruction. This breath of destruction usually lurks in the body of the Titan ape. It cannot be absorbed by it, nor will it cause any beneficial or adverse effects. It will even be excreted from the body through metabolism. But now, under the stimulation of the evil aura, the aura of destruction seemed to be provoked. The two auras intertwined and offset each other, making the erosion of the evil god's domain's ability ineffective. Without the erosion of evil aura, the Titan ape's powerful defense was revealed. Of all the dark demon evil god tiger's attack skills, only the extremely sharp evil god hook can pose a fatal threat to the Titan giant ape. Although the other attack skills can cause some minor damage, they do not pose a threat. Strange? The Titan ape seems to be much stronger than I thought. Beside the battlefield, Lin Rong concealed his presence and hid on the branch of a big tree, watching the fight between the dark demon evil god tiger and the Titan giant ape with a look of surprise and doubt on his face. Because the destructive aura in the Titan ape's body was too weak and mixed with the evil blood, Lin Rong was unable to sense the existence of this destructive aura. In response, Lin Rong secretly praised, after all, he is the king of the forest who has lived for tens of thousands of years. He has mastered the use of his innate domain to perfection. Even if I don't use the power of my mind, I can't be as good as the Titan ape in the use of my innate domain. In comparison, the dark demon evil god tiger's use of its talents is much lower than that of the Titan giant ape, but this is normal. After all, the dark demon evil god tiger's cultivation is obtained by devouring soul beasts. Although it has 60,000 years of cultivation, it is still unknown whether it is actually 100 years old. But, unfortunately, although the strength of the Titan ape is beyond my imagination, it still cannot change the outcome of this battle. The dark demonic tiger will definitely win. The only variable is how long it will take to defeat the Titan ape. But Lin Rong wouldn't let that happen. What he wanted was to make both the Titan giant ape and the dark demon evil god tiger suffer heavy losses, and then he would come out to clean up the mess and take down the ape, the tiger and the man effortlessly. Fight. Fight, fight with real fire, and make the battle as intense as possible. Lin Rong secretly blessed a protracted war was not what he wanted to see. Firstly, if he delays, something unexpected may happen, causing the duck that is almost in his grasp to fly away. Secondly, if he was away for too long, the old butler would worry about his safety. Time passed slowly, and several hours later, damn, what I fear is bound to happen. Lin Rong leaned against the tree branch. The boring battle made him a little drowsy. Anna, who was sitting on a tea chair under the tree, was also in the same situation. Her eyelids felt heavy and trembling. Seeing that the battle would not be over for a while, she made a cup of black tea, hoping to use it to refresh herself and drive away sleepiness. Soon, the tea was ready, and just as Anna was about to drink it, Sarath came back. What about people? Anna saw that Sarath had nothing in his hands, frowned slightly, and asked in an unhappy tone. At this time, Sarath looked very embarrassed. His clothes were torn everywhere, and his hair and beard seemed to be burned. He walked up to Anna, knelt on the ground, with a humble attitude, self-blaming words, and took all the responsibility on himself. I am so sorry, my great master. On the way to find the golden generation, your loyal servant encountered a difficult soul beast and consumed a lot of soul power, so much so that when I found the golden generation, there was very little soul power left. But this is only one of the main reasons why I failed. There is another reason why I failed. That is that the three people of the golden generation, like you, the great master, are all descendants of gods. The three of them worked together, using the two trump cards of divine weapon and martial soul fusion technique to defeat me when my soul power was almost gone. I failed this time and was unable to share your worries. This is my fault. Please punish me so that your loyal servant can have some peace of mind. There was a crisp sound, like the sound of porcelain breaking. The cup of tea in Anna's hand fell to the ground, and the scalding tea splashed on her skirt and Sarath's face. What did you say? The golden generation is also the heirs of the gods. Her face was extremely gloomy, as if water could drip out of it. Saris, I didn't hear you clearly just now. Please allow me to say it again. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.